Mr. Mike's. Eat locally, enjoy casual.
Stood at the pinnacle of curling and battled in the most intense games.
Out on the ice, there's no room for compromise.
And when the pressure's on, every millimeter counts.
It's not just a game.
It's about maximizing performance,
Pushing limits.
Seizing victory.
When victory hangs in the balance,
I know what I'm relying on.
it's a gold line.
It's a gold line.
It's a gold line.
And it's the choice of champions.
When it comes to the game we love, having the right gear makes all the difference.
Gold Line's new curling shoes and brooms are a game changer.
The shoes, unbelievably comfortable.
And the brooms, lightweight and effective, giving you control on every sweep.
When I step onto the ice, I'm not just prepared, I look sharp.
Have you seen these shoes? They are a game changer.
And the brooms, light as a feather.
It's a gold line.
It's a Gold Line.
It's a gold line.
And is the choice of champions.
It has happened where people just haven't noticed when they've run out of time. I'm like, sounds good. Oh, overcooked it a bit. Jeez.
Clean! Keep going, Edin! Keep going! Keep going! Keep going! Keep going! Keep going! Keep going!
Minus 1,000 flash will win apres curl.
Oh, they're really sweeping this, boys.
They're
really sweeping this. Oh, boy, you can't give up a steal here.
Oh, perfect.
Okay, nice shot from Kate.
Here we go, it's happening.
Yeah, draw for the win for Rylan Kleider. Needs a piece of the forefoot. He's been really good all game. Trevor Johnson on this one here.
Can't hear yet for line ever.
No, they
Line's
like
good.
line. Now does it have the speed? They like the line. Does it have the speed? They're going hard for line. You have to get by this top yellow. Trevor Johnson leaning on it. He's by it. Now does it stop in time? Has to stop in time. What a shot from Rylan Kleider. We thought it was maybe the hardest option up from the booth, but that's why we're not down there.
A long day, a job well done, and the final work call. Where your place. Come as you are and fit in comfortably. Mr. Mike's. Eat locally, enjoy casual.
Stood at the pinnacle of curling and battled in the most intense games.
Out on the ice, there's no room for compromise.
and when the pressure's on, every millimeter counts.
It's not just a game.
It's about maximizing performance,
Pushing limits.
Seizing victory.
When victory hangs in the balance,
I know what I'm relying on.
it's a gold line.
it's a gold line.
It's a gold line.
And it's the choice of champions.
Yep. Whoa. Yep. Yep.
Good morning from the Mary Brown Center here in St. John's, Newfoundland. Brent Lang joined by Johnny Moe, John Morris, the godfather of curling. That's what we call you sometimes, right, J-Mo? I would list his resume, but we got a game to cover. It would take too long. But we've got 4 sheets in action here at the KIOTI National, the 3rd leg of the Grand Slam of Curling Series. Lots of action last night, some great games, and we've got another full sheet of men's action this morning. The feature game this morning is going to be Team Edin, Nicholas Edin versus Team Shuster, a rematch, John, of the 2018 Olympic gold medal final. So we'll see how that one goes, but like I said, 4 full draws in effect, and we're gonna meet the teams here right away. Show you who's the feature matchup as Robbie Dory continues to fire up the St. John's crowd. And Johnny, the crowds this week have been pretty awesome so far, hey?
Oh, killer! Even obviously when Brad's playing, they've been pretty near sold out. But even the non-Brad Gushu draws have been pretty impressive. So it's nice to be back on the rock.
It is, for sure. We were trying to figure out, do you remember when we were here last? What year it was? I know the Briar was 2017, but there must have been another slam here, and that got me to thinking we need a list of where all the slams ever have been and who's hosted the most, and I think that would be kind of cool to see.
Yeah, St. John's has a handful. I remember the one really memorable one was when we got snowed in.
Oh, right.
Got snowed in for 3 days, and all we could do was curl and I think there was one pub in town that was open, and I won't mention the name, but
it did very well, though.
Yeah, that was. But I think it's been 3 or 4 slams here at least, eh?
I think so. You won the Players' Championship. Would that have been 2004-ish?
Yeah, that was 2004 with Cooey and Kennedy and Paldo.
I remember you guys with the big check and saying, "George Street, here we come."
I think we spent half it on George Street.
You might have left it there, eh?
As soon as we came back this year, all the bartenders' eyes were lighting up.
I think it's going to be a good week for the whole city. Obviously, the people super excited, but the restaurants, the hotels, even maybe George Street's going to get some action. But we also have our own kind of version of George Street, the Après Curl, which I haven't checked it out yet. I know there's only room for 1,500, and there's going to be 6,000 people here tonight. So if you want to check it out, you better get there early. But we got practice slides. Last stone draws are done. Team Edin with the hammer. It was Nicholas almost covering the pin, and Chris Plies for the U.S. just had a piece of the button. So Team Edin will start with last rock, and let's see if we can meet the teams here, although I don't have any picture on my screen. If you don't know who these guys are, you haven't been watching curling, that's for sure. They don't call him King Nick for nothing. So it'll be Skip, Nicholas Edin.
There we go. That's why we pay you the big bucks, Tanner.
Right?
Our technician here just took care of business.
We got a great view, and you can see the crowds rolling in here, even though the hometown heroes, Team Gushu, doesn't play till 8 o'clock tonight. So I think the 4 o'clock game will probably start to fill up even more as people say, we might go early and watch another game, and then 8 o'clock it's going to be pumping in here tonight. But let's see if we can meet the teams as we look at Matt Hamilton and his new hat. That's the new hat cam that has some crazy, crazy video views of sweeping, calling the line, and it's just a new way, another thing the curling group is looking at to try and change the way we bring the sport to the world. So we're going to start with Team Edin. King Nick, Skip, Nicholas Edin. 3rd, Oscar Eriksson, one of the most entertaining characters in curling on and off the ice. 2nd, Rasmus Rana, and the lead, Christopher Sundgren.
I was straight though.
The 29-time reigning Swedish champions or something like that.
Is there another Swedish men's team around?
Not that I know of. And then Team Shuster, of course, the 2018 Olympic gold medal skip. Johnny Shuster, that is an awesome picture of Chris Plies, the 3rd.
Looks like Waldo.
Does, and that's probably on purpose. Colin Huffman, the 2nd, one of the best sweepers in the game. And Steiner's not here. Lead today is Matt Hamilton. They do roll with a 5-person team, but in talking with Matt, they have it all kind of set out. They don't travel with 5, but they do have a 5-player team. This is the one that we see most times, however. I know Steiner just welcomed a new human to the world, so congrats, Steiner, if you're watching. And if you weren't watching last night's game, John, I think we're going to try and queue up Schuster's win over the #1 team in the world. That's what's kind of made it a mess on the men's side, is nobody really expects Mao to ever lose, but Shuster, one of the lower seeds in the event, made a crazy shot to win in the extra end after he was in trouble kind of the whole end. Did you see that one, John?
Well, I heard when people were coming out of the rink that everyone was a buzz and they said, "Did you see Schuster's last shot? It was unreal." So I was able to tune into the highlights, and yeah, that's. Hopefully we can. If you didn't have a chance to see it, we can cue you up because it was one of the best shots that you'll see all season from these boys, and obviously a pretty, a lot on the line, pretty high stakes game too, which is always a bonus. So hopefully we'll get to show you fans what we got to witness here last night.
Good start here, first 3 shots. I was talking yesterday, John, and you obviously play a lot of mixed doubles gold medal in probably your underwear drawer. That's where most medals are kept, right?
2 inches more.
But the guys and the gals at the top level are getting so good. It's almost like we don't want to eliminate the leads from the game, but you can almost set up the rocks the way we do in mixed doubles and say, okay, let's save a little bit of time. Center guard, come around, freeze.
Yeah, they're pretty. It's getting pretty automatic, which is also one of the reasons why I don't. Sometimes you'll hear like most of the time ice is perfect at the slams, but sometimes you get factors that come into play that are kind of out of the ice maker's control, like it's really humid out or a lot of rain, and sometimes that'll create some adverse ice conditions. And I actually don't mind that because you start seeing a few misses, and then our fans can start relating to these curlers because they get the same misses out of their club games a little bit on Wednesday night. So I think the ice with the weather we've been having in St. John's has been a little tricky. I've heard the draws have been a little bit tough, but I think that just makes it a bit more exciting for us and a little less predictable, which isn't a bad thing.
Yeah, now that we don't play anymore, I hope the ice goes to shit.
That's fine.
We used to have hair brooms that we could help the cause of the frost, but not these days anymore.
Yeah, the night draw I'm hearing, especially after a Gushu afternoon draw when there's 6,000 people in here, the humidity comes in the heat, and the night draw has been the trickiest. Not uncommon especially when we're anywhere kind of east coast of Canada, the humid, wet weather. And when the Brier was here in 2017, it wasn't quite frosty enough for Brad's draw to win to stop, but it was a tougher shot than it should have been otherwise.
Yeah.
So Nick's not loving how this is setting up, John. He's going to blow it up, check the hammer.
Yeah, no better guy to blow it up than Rasmus. I think he's maybe one of the best. Well, he is one of the best hitters in the game, and he kind of makes his job is making precise runbacks with tons of weight. And he made another one there, so.
He does it with ease, and then every now and again he dips his toe with his sister Isabella into mixed doubles, and they pick up a world championship.
Did they? They won last year?
They won the world championship last year. They played a couple of events over the last 3 or 4 years coming over to Canada, and I think they won most of those too.
Yeah, that's a very interesting thing with this Swedish team is they've created essentially an all-star team in Sweden, so they've taken the best skips coming up and they just throw them all on the same team. Ooh, bit of an overcurl there by Huffman.
Right out of Collins' hand, and I mentioned Collins, big part of the reason he's on this team is his sweeping. He's a great dude too, a great team guy and a good player. But he's probably thinking, if I swept that, I could have got that. I could have made that. Come on, Muzzy.
If that was mixed doubles, he would have jumped up and swept that and made that, eh?
It's now a chance for potentially a simple deuce, but dangerous yellow rock to leave there for Nick, but a hard one to remove. I'm a little surprised he's not even just running the guard and going to the next end. Eventually that yellow one's going to be planted, and then I guess they're just going to count on making the run back.
Yeah, the challenge here is you really want to get it T-line or deeper, because if you give a team 3 or 4 shots at a hit and roll, pretty good chance they're going to make one of them. So this is a bit more of a precise draw than it may seem. You really want to be deep T-line here, we call it.
Fresh path, too, that they wouldn't have thrown in practice at all. Getting past the double, but not quite as deep as you said they would like it, John. The other thing we got going on, I'm learning, and I know you learned a little bit more about the kitchen party going on in here tonight. Tell me a little bit about that, John.
Yeah, so a kitchen party that I've learned is something that's traditional to Newfoundland, and it's kind of when you go to you're kind of having an after party or a community party. You go to someone's kitchen and everyone kind of breaks out an instrument and starts jamming, and next thing you know, everyone's singing, and probably there's a bit of screech involved, and turns into a real hoot. So we're going to get that going in here tonight. And if you are in the St. John's area, you're going to want to get down here for the action for Brad Gushu's game tonight, and then the kitchen party we're having at at the pub up here is going to be off the charts, and I can't wait for it.
Yeah, I'm hearing that some people are going to have those homemade instruments like in the stands, and good hit and roll there.
Great shot. Yeah.
And it's going to be a rockin' party. It's also Jeff Walker's birthday on Team Gushu, so it's going to be a hell of a birthday party for Jeff.
Okay, well maybe we'll get him up to the kitchen party after the game.
6,000 or 7,000 birthday bumps. Get him through the tunnel.
So yeah, as Edin made that little error of not getting deep enough, as you said, that fresh path, and now they're in bail mode. So just one little slip up by Edin, and Plies, who's a great curler in his own right, made a perfect hit and roll, and we'll see what the Swedes can do here back.
Oscar, also a world mixed doubles champ. I think he played 1 year and said this is a bit easy. I mean, he did pick up Anna Hasselberg, so
yeah,
shots like that go a long way in any kind of curling. Probably disappointed he didn't make the run double, but that's pretty good. I think that top one's in, so.
Yeah, that's a great shot. U.S. has to be real careful now, because if they leave any double available for Nick or Oscar, there's a good chance it'll be made. So this is a very precise hit and roll, and you don't really want to nose it here.
Grand Slam of Karaoke's coming up too, John. Two crooners on this team. Colin Huffman and Chris Plies, both like legit good singers.
Yeah, I got to witness on Tuesday night. We had a little practice.
Oh, they're practicing now. This is getting serious.
It was impromptu. They got screeched in, and then all of a sudden, it just so happened the pub we were at, where we were getting screeched in, they had open mic and karaoke. So,
oh boy. Yeah,
got to do a little practice, and I got to say, Plies and Huffman, they got some vocal cords on those two. It was quite the. Even Shuster got up there and sang some country tunes.
Nice. So the screech was working. I wouldn't picture Shuster getting up there, voluntarily all that often.
Well, you know what? I think he was even just drinking Diet Cokes. He was still
just feeling the Newfoundland vibes.
He was, yeah.
Good for Johnny. So chance for a double in lie 2 here. Like you said, you didn't want to nose this.
He's playing a bit down weight, conservative. That was the opportunity for the Swedes to. That's one you don't see Oscar miss very often.
Especially because he just threw that spot on his first one, so there was really no guesswork left.
They lowered the weight to make sure they either made the double or rolled, and got neither.
That's probably peel weight number 4 in Oscar's repertoire. Harder than I could ever throw it, but that's probably, he's got 3 more gears. He has the ability to throw it as hard as anybody, as well as Nick does. They practice all sorts of crazy stuff.
So now that strategy changes a little bit because of how high that is, you probably just want to nose that, Langer, and give him either a real steep double or. The problem with trying to roll is if you roll 2 feet, it makes it easier for him.
Yeah, roll applies his broomer a little farther and it'll be a half rocker. So yeah, probably going for the nose hit here.
Even a little wiggle in towards that red corner wouldn't be bad.
And I wonder if Nick will draw around this one. Probably not. Probably thinking, let's not get silly here. Give me an easy shot for 1. Let's put our hammer that we earned on the board. The old Barry used to say that a lot, I know.
He's really coming down. Just board weight, Yeah, not a bad spot.
It's a really thin double. He might play it knowing that he'll spin out most times and get a blank.
I heard we're doing some live betting on Friday, so this would be a good one for the old live bet,
I heard that, like, betting on each shot, each end.
Yeah.
Again, raising some money for charity. I don't know, are we Monopoly money, or is this whose money are we betting?
Well,
ours?
This is apparently we're getting some chips.
Do we have a team account or something that we're going into?
Well, the chips are the tokens in the patch.
Oh, nice.
So we're going to all start probably with about 10 chips.
Okay.
And there's 4 of us, and we'll see who has the big stack.
Is Fry one of them?
Fry's one of them. So I like our chances.
You're never going to believe this, but he bets a little bit aggressively.
Okay.
Like poker.
Doesn't have a poker face,
Well, no, he has a poker face, but he doesn't have the patience. So he wants to know what's going to happen pretty quick. Puts his chips in the middle often.
Okay, I'll keep that in mind. So what is he going for it with?
I thought I heard him say
or?
double. I mean, my Swedish is not very good, but I heard a word sounding like double. And if he sticks it, great. If he rolls out, blank. And yeah, he's coming out with some speed. So
this is the way they can really kind of control. Oh,
that's curling.
Yeah, this is the same spot that Huffman's curled.
Just like that, doesn't stick, but
good shot.
Rasmussen wants that one out of the way, knowing that if it isn't in the rings, I don't want a shooter to be able to jam on that on any blank.
Yeah, what do you like? I like 9-5 edge is fine. Okay. How about that?
And we're back to a blank end. Not for lack of trying, not for lack of action.
Yeah, good start to the game. I think both these teams have been a little bit inconsistent this year. And even in the slam, I know that Edin, who's usually really strong, got drilled by Jacobs the other night.
Yeah, and that was I covered that game. It was a close game early, and then gave up a bad 3 and then a steal of 3, and went from 1-1 to 7-1 in handshakes in 31 minutes, which is not normal for them. And you're right, both these teams probably not super excited with their year so far. Team Edin they've only played 6 events, but they've only qualified in half of them, including missing the playoffs at the Europeans, which is one of their annual gold medals. Usually.
Maybe the first time ever they missed the playoffs there, right?
In a long time, I would imagine, for sure. And then missed the playoffs at the Slam, missed the playoffs at the Shorty Jenkins. Lost the final at the Oslo Cup in Norway. That's a spiel I never did play in that I wish I had. The Baden Masters in Switzerland, and then the Canadian Open, they qualified and lost the quarters. So not a great year for six-time world champions, 7-time world champions? Hard to keep track.
I lost track.
Yeah, I know.
So relatively easy blank here for Nick. There we go.
We got zeros on the board, and we're going to take a quick break, come back with second end action right after this.
When it comes to the game we love, having the right gear makes all the difference.
Gold Line's new curling shoes and brooms are a game changer.
The shoes, unbelievably comfortable.
And the brooms, lightweight and effective, giving you control on every sweep.
When I step onto the ice, I'm not just prepared. I look sharp.
Have you seen these shoes? They are a game changer.
And the brooms, light as a feather.
It's a Gold Line.
It's a Gold Line.
It's a Gold Line.
And is the choice of champions.
Welcome back to the second end action. We got Team Shuster, Team Edin. They've played 30 times historically over the years, and I believe it's 20. Don't make me do the math. 1911 for Team Edin, but this is 10 in a row. Doesn't feel good. It's reminiscent of the early 2000s, Randy Furby versus Team John Morris.
And here's the shot we wanted to chat with you about.
Oh, there it is.
This is the in-off that created the buzz last night. It was probably one of the best shots you'll see all years, and especially for the win.
And you see John Schuster's reaction there. I thought I watched it live, and I thought I heard some excitement out of him that you don't normally hear. Maybe even an F, yeah.
Yeah, great to see. Those are always shots no matter what teams you're cheering for, you cheer for those shots to be made, because that's what makes this game so magical, is when you can get a shot like that for the win and in front of a big crowd like this. So
got John Cullen pretty excited. He was calling the game, and I thought he was going to have an aneurysm. He was...
when I watched the highlights, I said, who the heck's doing that?
Yeah, it sounded like a different person.
It did, yeah. But no, that was an excitable shot, as Cullen showed us. And it was a big game, because you never want to be 0-2 after your first two games in a slam. So that makes this game even more important. Both these teams 1-1 now. And, whoever can win this game will really put them in the driver's seat to qualify here this weekend.
Yeah, only on the men's side, as we see 2 guards, and we're going to have some action this end. Only men's side, there's only 3 teams that are undefeated. The hometown heroes, Team Gushu. They just showed him on the Jumbotron for a second, and people started clapping here. He's not even here. Team McEwen, so 2 Canadians at 2-0, and then Team Ross White, the Scottish team. I'd like to say they're the young Scots, but they're a force to be reckoned with. They're in every slam playoffs, it seems. So 3 on the men's side at undefeated. On the women's side, Holman 3-0, Anderson 3-0, Kim 3-0, Fujisawa and Hasselberg 2-0. So 5 teams still undefeated. So the men's is heading for tiebreakerville by the looks of it. A bit of a mess potentially, but we'll know a lot more after today when everybody's got 3 games in.
No, I had a bigger time on the kick, but I liked that split.
Johnny, when we played in these for a long time, they were... Well, they were 18 team when we had pools, so it was pools of 6, and we played 5 games, and there were time for tiebreakers, but the format's changed, and I always thought people preferred the triple. What's your thought, triple versus the pools?
Well, it's quite the, I think there's really good arguments for both, but the triple, I think, is, from a player's standpoint, better, because every game you're in is extremely meaningful. You're never in a game where both teams are 0-3, per se, and you know kind of exactly where you sit. You just got to either win 3 before you lose 3. That's kind of the rule with with the triple, and I know that it's pretty popular with the players. Now the challenge with the triple is that it's hard for the local committees and the Grand Slams to market the games, like especially in a place like St. John's. If we had a triple here and somehow Brad Yushu fell to an 8 a.m. game, wouldn't be ideal, right?
That'd be real bad.
So that's something that I know that it's nice to have control of from an organizational standpoint and a production standpoint. So the other thing that I think is a challenge sometimes with an even amount of games in a round robin, what we're seeing, which is 4 games. A lot of the times you're going to have many teams at 2-2.
Yeah.
And you're going to have teams eliminated with 2 losses. And essentially, I think the ideal way to do a pool play is to have an odd number of games, because you'll get a lot more balanced results from, like, if you have tiebreakers at 3-2, it's okay, but 2-2, you're going to be getting teams eliminated with 2-2. They don't yet have 3 losses, so it's a real challenge. And now that I'm on the other side of the coin, where I'm not playing it, I'm kind of helping with format here a little bit. It's definitely a lot to take in, and there's many factors that we have to kind of take into account when we're making these draws.
Yeah, it's not as simple. And talking to players now, there's a lot of advantages to the pools, including knowing your schedule, planning your week, all those types of things. Triple, like you said, you lose here, and it's like, when do we play again? It's like, in 2 hours, right? So there are advantages. The biggest advantage you already touched on with the triple is everybody's in the same boat. There's no meaningless games. You win, you go forward, you lose, you're out, and you're going to lose to be out. Instead of here, you could win your last one, be tied with somebody who has a better shootout. They get in because of a lack of sheets, and it just gets more complicated. But this week it needs to be pools, because we need Team Gushu playing at least the afternoon, and if not evening. And I think they're tonight and probably tomorrow night, and this place is going to be rocking. So.
Yeah, hopefully right into Saturday night. That would be
everybody.
Sure nice if we can get
the organizing committee, and I think the curling group. We don't have a horse in the race, but this week it sure would be nice if Team Gushu made a run in the playoffs, I think.
Good setup here for Edin. They got a couple of corners there, or they had a corner set up, and then Shuster's both those draws came a little deep, so had a great setup for Edin so far, but this is a huge shot for Huffman. If he can weld this on a great angle, then it can kind of get the U.S. out of jail here a little bit.
Yeah, Colin tried to chase on his first, and that's the second yellow of the pocket over there, just kind of wrecked on the corner guard. Back-to-back overcurls on his intern, so I'm not sure if he just needs a little bit more ice, and not uncommon for the righty intern to hook a little, Johnny?
Yeah, I've seen a few of them. Myself included.
No, not out of your own hand ever, but... So, yeah, like you said, and the over curls there, so again, advantage Edin. If they could ever nose this and get their back red one out of the 4-foot, but kill 2 yellows, that would be real good, and stay on the nose kind of half open in front of the tee line. Getting real dicey here for...
kind of like a back ring just through kind of weight Langer.
Sure, yeah. Hard to tell what the angles are from here, but yeah, don't want to throw it so light that there's a huge pocket back here. But looks like they heard you.
Weight, eh?
Yeah. Sounds perfect. Yeah, something like that would be real good.
That's a great result.
Nice. Agreed. King Nick will be in the booth, I think, this afternoon, maybe. I think he and I are going to call a game. I've heard a lot of great feedback. I haven't commentated with Nick yet, but every time he does it, I've heard great feedback.
Yeah, he's a very smart strategist and provides a very unique perspective. I know he studied the game probably more than anyone
I was thinking the same thing, John, yeah.
Ever met. I remember we used to be pretty good friends on tour. I would host that team, and the one time Nick came up for a training camp in Canmore, and he stayed at my place for a week. And we curled every day, and we played a lot of pool, and I didn't realize he was such a
good
pool shark. But we actually talked a lot of strategy, and I was amazed at how much of the game they studied. They know every percentage of every, so it's hard to beat the knowledge they've picked up over the years.
Has spent really his whole life. I mean, I remember the first time I really saw Nick was maybe at the Continental Cup around 2006 7 where he was sparing for Dave Murdoch, and he'd been around a little bit, but since then he's dedicated his life to the game, and it shows.
It's also taken a toll on his body a little bit. I think he's had a few back surgeries, and
I think it's double digits back surgeries, maybe a knee surgery. He left with a One World Championship. They had to send a separate, like almost a private plane, like a medical plane for him, because he couldn't really move. His back was messed up. That was 2016.
I think it's safe to say he's gone through the curling meat grinder a few times.
Still runs a lot, though, and I'm not a doctor, but I don't know if that's maybe a great idea, pounding on the pavement.
Looks like a great shot here. Sweden continuing to apply some pressure to the U.S. team here. They're in, I think right now they're looking at getting a deuce, and with any luck, they might even get a 3 unless Chris Plies can pull a bit of magic out of the hat here.
Yeah, nose here from Plies and a nose from Oscar. The nose won't do it. It won't get them out counting the far right red one, so they'll have to make a decision, assuming this nose and the next one are made. So strategy is only as good as the execution, John. We talk about that in all the camps we do. Everybody wants to know, what do I do in this situation? It's like, well, here's what you do. And he's like, oh, remember that next time? It's like, well, you almost never see the same situation twice.
Curl a little bit. Curl a little bit.
Looks like a good shot.
Yeah, real good. You can see there, if they nose, Shuster won't be able to nose, and there might be room to make the double and roll under.
The other problem too is in order to make the roll, you want to play some low weight, but then that double makes that double a lot more tough, and you can bring the jam into play, right? That's the challenge with this shot: is what's the ideal weight to throw?
And the best, as much as it's going to hurt for a second, the best result here for Shuster might be to have him make this and just roll like 2/3 buried, so he can then freeze on the back 4 rock, maybe behind one top 8.
You betcha.
You never want to cheer for the other guys to lie 3, but so they're still sticking to that hack weight, like you said, John. Going to be tough to make the double. I don't think they'd be overly upset if they nosed it. If Shuster knows his shot to lie 2, there'd probably be a double for Nick, so.
Just tickles it. Pretty much almost as good as you can make that.
Yeah, it doesn't lie 2, but yeah, just a pound harder there. He would have laid 3 actually, but now he can maybe nose it and not leave a double, John.
Yeah, I think the play here is just to roll 6 inch, half under. Because if you roll too far, you give him the double to lie 3 at you. And if you nose, he might have, may have the double.
Maybe.
The other way,
He's got some trick shots up his sleeve. If it's too flat, Nick just throws like 15 rotations. Makes it coming sideways.
Yeah.
You guys like just drawing in here? It's tough if we roll too far, they're making the double to lie 3. We stick it, they make the double to lie 3. It's not great. We're thinking just here.
Yeah, I think that makes sense.
If
you roll under again, though, and they make the double, then you're going to have a freeze, but
it depends. If knowing Nick, he'll try to make that double and
spin it
somewhere,
As long as he just barely crosses. Yeah.
So it's an interesting situation, because I think probably a lot of viewers at home are thinking, well, he's got a chance to hit and lie 2. Why wouldn't he do it? And I think we covered, because John covered it perfectly, Shuster. If we do this, we're dead. If we do this, we're dead. So maybe we should do something different.
Yeah, I'm into this call. I think this is the right strategy here.
Should be able to get this buried behind the red one right on the tee line, I think would be ideal. So big shot early for 2018 Olympic gold medalist. A couple of quick starts. Team Returnaz against Team Ramsfeld. Team Returnaz takes 3 in the first, and Team Jacobs steals 3 on Team Craik in the first end. Yikes. They, I'll say it, they got super lucky to win last night. Holy, Ramsfeld probably wants his last one back. And
go ahead and 6, 7. Yep. Line's good. Line's nice. Might even be curl. Line's nice. Go.
Boys kind of picked it up right out of Schuster's hand here.
Looks like it's got a curl a bit here. They might be calling the audible and trying to freeze, I think, is the next call.
Yeah, there it is. You predicted it.
It's actually a decent result. I think they'd be happy with that result. A little bit
accidentally quite good.
Yeah. Ran a little straighter on them, and about at the hog line, they called an audible, which I think was
maybe better.
Good switch, yeah.
Knows this though. Get shot. It's close to being able to blast it and come off the back of that other yellow and lie too.
I think you play a hack weight.
Right on the nose, eh?
Nose or even a shade inside.
Yeah, stay on the button, frozen. You're going to score.
I think what you ideally is if you can nose it, or sorry, just inside and stay on a 3/4 on that inside angle frozen, then it makes it a little dicey for Shuster, because if he freezes, it's kind of got that automatic jam into the other yellow, right? Oh.
Yeah, it might end up being a nose for 4.
And knowing Nick, he'll probably want to get, he won't be happy with just a half shot here. He'll want to be exactly precise to put some heat on Shuster and company. Looks like ice for just through.
I think he's doing exactly what he said. And I know when we were growing up learning the game, Johnny, we talked a lot about tolerance. That's not a word you want to hear at the Grand Slams. If you're going to beat the best teams, you just got to try and make everything perfect, like you said.
Has some curling to do.
Sure does.
Trying.
Not carving it. It's interesting still to see teams when they carve and when they don't.
Yeah, I thought they would have gave that a few licks, but what do you think?
I'm not sure why. Yeah, they're not a team that carves a ton. They're more on the straight, and they've got the hop and a couple of different theories about sweeping, but I think that this is a get-out-of-jail-free card for John Shuster. If he makes this hit and roll, he's got a good chance to steal.
Yeah, all of a sudden the tides have turned here, and 1.5 miss there by Edin, which, let's be honest, they probably would have got a 4 for 4 on that if you're keeping stats, but
potentially,
in my opinion, that's about a 2 out of 4.
At best, yeah.
And now, as you say, if Shuster makes a tap and roll here, it is going to be Danger Bay for Edin.
There it is. Tough score for make this bad boy real good. John Shuster may be one of the best one-liners in the game. You got to keep a mic on him at all times.
Especially when he's feeling it.
Yeah, exactly.
When he's shucking and jiving, as we would say.
Cocky John is pretty funny.
Easy, clean, easy, clean.
That's pretty good.
It's been
Girl. Clean, clean, straight.
He's looking good.
Yes.
A little bit of an overroll, but not too shabby. If it had stopped about 6 inches over there, that would have been a real tough score. He might have had to play the in-off.
Yeah, that would have been his only way to score, I think. But just a slight missed call, not an overcarve. They did carve it a little bit, but so there is space for Nick. Not sure what Oscar's looking at over there.
In-off triple?
Feeling that early, eh? In a 0-0 game in the second. Straight draw to the button. This is the path, actually, that Chris Plies, the Team Shuster had this path in the draw to the button. This is the direction they throw their last stone draw in. Nick's was an in-turn, so.
Looks like it's hanging here a bit. It's
yeah,
not,
that's a lot of ice, eh?
Not finishing too much here, so be interesting to see what path he gets in.
If he thinks at all about the backing, yeah, tightening it up. If he's heavy, I think he's in trouble. So final shot, second to end. Nicholas Edin drawing against 3, 2 of which are biting the button. Trying to break the scoreless tie here. Somebody's going to score. It's probably either going to be 1 red or at least or 2 yellow.
Line's looking good.
Holigong sounds good, I think. I don't know what that means.
I think that means ho-hum.
Yeah, it means 1 red for Team Edin, and they'll take a 1-0 lead to the third end. We'll be back with the action right after this.
I've stood at the pinnacle of curling and battled in the most intense games.
Out on the ice, there's no room for compromise.
And when the pressure's on, every millimeter counts.
It's not just a game.
It's about maximizing performance,
pushing limits,
seizing victory.
When victory hangs in the balance,
I know what I'm relying on.
It's a gold line.
It's a gold line.
It's a gold line.
And it's the choice of champions.
Good morning, curling fans. Welcome inside the Mary Brown Center. Brent Lang and John Morris bringing you the action today. And we've got the KIOTI National Grand Slam of Curling. If you don't have the GSOC app yet and you call yourself a curling fan, you got to do one of two things. You either got to stop calling yourself that or you got to get the app. It's got everything you need, including the button. I like things dumbed down for me for technology. All I have to do if I want to watch a game is open the app and push live stream and then pick my game. We do have all 4 sheets going. Our feature game, Team Edin, had a good chance there to score a few, and then just a slight miscue on Nick's first, and was forced to one. Had to make a good draw to the button for one, and we got a 1-0 game. So Team Mowat, after losing last night, John, has fallen behind Team Dunstone 3-0, and that looks like a steal of 3 in the second end. So
yeah, it's when it rains, it pours after a...
Are they human? Is that what we're seeing?
That's what a big shot can do for you. It can give you some momentum to, you know, it looks like U.S. is still feeling pretty good from that win last night with the start they've had, and Mowat not quite feeling it yet this morning.
Team Returnas with the hammer down. Coach Fry has them clicking their heels. They're up 5-0 on Ramsfell. And Ramsfell, like you said, John, they had a tough loss last night where they played a great 7th and to steal 2 on Team Jacobs, and then played a pretty good 8th and ended up giving up 3. Just Ramsfell had a freeze back 8 on his last one behind a center guard that if it was made reasonably well, they win the game, or worst case go extra, and he was heavy, rolled off. They swept it most of the way, and Brad just had to draw the 8-foot for the win to get 3. So their momentum heading in the wrong direction. Momentum's a scary thing.
Yeah, it's interesting because I find that a lot of teams, most teams, you saw both those teams, Ramsfell and Mowat, having tough losses last night, last shot. And it's hard to bounce back. It's hard to shake that off. You know, I find that, you know, my career, that was always something that was a challenge. And but there's one guy I played with that was sure he had the, I think it was a good skill to have in curling, which is a short memory. And with playing with Kevin Martin, you know, we'd have a game sometimes and, you know, have a real bad game. But with Kevin, he was one guy that it was like that last game or even that last shot didn't even affect him. And so it's a real uncommon to have that trait curling. I find it's much easier to kind of get down and sometimes, you know, like ride that momentum, whether it's high or low. And yeah, I remember playing with Kevin. It was just he was one of the best at parking it, as my dad would say.
You know, the old Pearl, Earl Morris used to talk to us a lot about that. It's easier said than done, but and I would agree, Kevin, you know, he would never go away and never quit. Never really got super rattled. He got a little blotchy sometimes, but nothing too crazy. And good news for Kevin is he didn't have to deal with those losses very often, but when he did, he was pretty good at it. If you're going to play the game at the highest level, you're going to lose lots of big games. I don't care who you are. So you better figure out how to deal with it. Some guys smash brooms in half and move on. Some guys go into a deep, dark silence. It's interesting to watch, and you got to get to know your teammates and know what to say and what not to say.
Yeah, everyone's different that way. Not necessarily one right way to do it.
Nope, that's for sure. And so Colin Huffman here, trying to open this up. A good run back here, though, could leave 2 corner guards and kind of nothing much left in the house, which would be a good setup. Whoa, speed wobble from the big man.
Seem to recover here, though.
Sounds good.
Good.
Not too shabby.
Very good. Those corner guards are a problem for Nick, even though there's a red one behind it. Next shot for Team Shuster is probably a straight draw, even if they do only end up second. Nick's considering running the guard in. That's how much those corner guards are bothering him, and I don't.
Det blir väldigt bra läge för dem att bara dra här oavsett vad vi gör, känns som.
This is where they're going to go
Vi kan
next.
inte riktigt dra där själva, det blir för stort target. Ja, skulle kunna gå på den. Den här dubbeln är automatisk. Tar man lite tjockt så rullar man
This is
upp
called a high-end strategy call.
Yeah, not many people would call
ligger i alla
this.
fall okej
No.
guard där.
I think even if he makes the double peel on the guards, though, it's unlikely that
Ja, den här är
anybody
väl,
can hold a deuce against these guys from this early in the end.
Ja.
And the problem with the double peel on the guards is it's not an easy double peel. Like it naturally jams into that. If they're trying to run that one into the house, which I'm sure they'll be doing, it seem like a natural jam where they're going to keep that corner there anyway?
Yeah, and probably going to be right in front of the red one, and then they corner freeze on that one, maybe on their next. But
I think they'll eventually go to hitting this one here, the one in the house.
He's running it.
He is, eh?
I'm going to say he's the only one in the world that would call this shot. So we'll see if Rasmus lives up to the billing. He'll be close. He won't miss it light.
You got a stopwatch?
I don't in my pocket. I got a phone. Somebody's calling me, but I'm busy.
Ja, whoa. Ja, det är bra.
Yeah, I'm not sure I love that result. Now you got a similar situation with that corner guard out. You make this corner freeze and
make a good draw here, and it's.
What's the height? What's that? What's the height? It's 8 inches above the tee line. Okay.
Top
if
floor.
line gets good, we can bump it, but okay. Yeah. Matt's
So Huffman had a great hit on his first one with that run back. Now we've got to see the other part of his game, which is the finesse part. See how this is one of the first shots this side of the ice here. So
These are the shots that go on the scoreboard most often. If this is made perfect, this will probably be there the whole end, and there's not a lot Nick's going to be able to do about it. But it's another intern.
Plate's close. Gotta go. Come on, Matt.
I don't think so. Colin doesn't look super happy.
We're nose tapping it.
Just getting that intern going, kind of pointing it towards the target out of his hand. Out here, you want to do the opposite. You want to get it running, not curling. So big dodge there, but that shot's still going to be there next shot, and I think they still should play it, no matter where this rolls to. When it curls early, it kills the speed too, especially on the arena ice. Like he might have had good body speed and rock speed there, and if he threw it well, that could have gone another 6 or 8 feet as opposed to curling early.
yeah, you'll notice the rotation on these Swedish team. They have considerable more than the U.S. team, and what you'll see is their draws especially will hold longer. And when the ice gets a little bit softer, that's when you see a bit more of an advantage to those guys that can comfortably add more rotation like that.
Either of you knows it's tough for them to
Team
roll.
Mao, a
We're
good
not
example
gonna
of
have this
that.
with the next
He's
one.
still talking about the hit.
Way to get 2. What's that? I think this is our best chance for 2. That's fine.
I would agree. A good draw here, and you're still looking really good for 2. Where would Nick go? Maybe guard the center one? Risky.
Especially if you can get shot here. That's the key. Is it's kind of tricky getting shot rock and still leaving it undercover and tough to get out here. So
you're drawn to a couple of inches here.
Line's okay.
This is tight. It's holding better, but it's still tight.
Hard, gotta go then.
Weight's
Out
coming
straight.
off too, eh?
Hard going, push. Hard.
It's not going to be shot, I don't think, regardless.
All the way in house, all the way in house.
Yeah, definitely a spot there, the curls. So you got to adapt when you're throwing that to really be more positive. Almost more positive than you're comfortable with, eh, Langer?
Yeah, sometimes, and it's, if you keep over curling, yeah, you got to try and miss the other way. I think that was one thing I learned over the years, especially from playing with guys like Rich Hart or Glenn Howard, Wayne Madaw, Johnny Moe. You guys, you keep missing the same way. It's like, oh my God, show me you're paying attention.
Yeah.
The trick there was they thought Colin was soft on his, so they weren't sure if it was Colin or the spot. I think now they know for sure it's the spot. But it's going to cost them a chance at 2 here because the nose hit here and force is looking likely.
Whoa. Vaeka. Sit.
Ooh, Miscalculation there. That's Johnny's deciding, can we even make this shot? Doesn't look like this is our spot. Maybe we switch to hitting the middle one.
Same thing?
Yeah, Chris wants to make
I'll
it.
give you another inch anyways.
I think I like that, don't you?
I think this late in the end, it's a little, not riskier, but a little more likely that Nick would throw the tight center guard if you do make this good. He also now has that short slash. If this bounces at all, this isn't going to be any good. Oscar Shooter rolling to a good spot to slash one in there to kill this if it bounces off the red.
Go ahead then, yep. Always straight. Hard then. Line's really good, easy. Yep, straight. Whoa. I know we got to stay shot. Whoa.
This looks pretty good.
There's a shot. That's what they were looking for.
One shot too late. If that happened one shot or two shots earlier, we're probably going to make a deuce. That slash must be really thin or else Nick would be racing over to play it, and it is. We're at the side of the sheet here. It doesn't look so bad from over here, Johnny, but...
There's the hat cam we get to see. Look at that.
That's pretty cool. Bird's eye view of what the sweepers see.
It's kind of got two options here. You can try the double raise, which looks not too bad, and or the, as you say, really thin slash. I kind of like the double raise a little bit better, just because you can get some action on your shooter to, if you get real lucky, to roll over and guard your center one as well.
It's true.
Which
Very
I think,
close to that.
I think that's almost the made shot if you can. So there's almost two options there. They're both.
Outturn. Och 60 tänkte jag.
It's like about
60 med outturn.
2/3, eh, Langer?
Yeah, is he saying 60%? I don't know what he's saying, but yeah, that looks like 2/3. If you jam it right on the red, it doesn't miss the back one by much, so you don't have to hit it much across the top of the second one to make contact. Sometimes I find it easier to line these up by figuring out, yeah, what if we hit it here? That looks the natural spot, and then how much different do we have to hit the first one? So trick shot for Nick Edin, out-turned, across the face, double run back.
Yep. Yep. Yes. Hard. Yep.
Almost got it the other way, what you were talking about, but that's a miss. I think that's a shot that Nick makes more than he misses, so that's a break for Team Shuster, and the great shot from Chris Plies pays off here.
Which way? I mean, this way, you think? I mean, we could roll this way as well, but yeah, seems like that's the most likely way to get forced here.
That red top eight's a problem now.
Here and ends over, right? Like,
That's a good rock to hit and roll behind for Team Edin.
But even if, as long as we all count that one, it's fine. Yeah.
And you can't roll behind it if you're Shuster, because Nick will make that 2-foot run back and stick it there.
I don't know that he can work it out of there, but he could probably make a double to stay shot next to it, and that might have a really tough one for two. But
I mean, I like the roll. If we're gonna play this, I think rolling.
Well, what else? What else are you seeing?
I mean, the only other shot. Really,
He knows that. Do you think there's a double there, John? Do you think he can get into the side of that yellow?
I was just thinking that. I think you can get into the side, and I don't think you can get out of the house, but you can get it enough to lie two.
Maybe
with that top eight one now.
That's one of the advantages of a guy like Nick. You know, John in the back of his head knows that if it's at all possible to make the double, Nick's one of the guys that can. Kevin Cooey's another guy, and he used to say to me, the crew makes people see things sometimes.
No, you can play it onto the side of ours.
Because you're worried about him making shots that nobody else can make.
And roll it 3 feet, 2 feet.
Yeah, the other interesting thing is if you roll it away a couple feet, it does leave him that hit and roll that if he makes it, there's no deuce at all anymore.
Yep.
So it's a
clean,
close, yep.
But I think you'd rather leave Nick a hit and roll than
This is
the spot's definitely going here.
Gonna roll maybe half
actually
under.
Not bad.
The end of the world, I don't think.
Not the end of the world. No, I agree. He could make the double off the yellow, but lots of speed, half a rock.
He's thinking the
2/3.
Yeah. He's thinking of going off the frozen one here, yeah. Because if it's only on less than half of that stone, so I think if you hit
That's okay, I think.
if you hit about a thick half of that with mega peel.
Yeah.
I think they both go away later.
Yeah, and it's the good news is even if you jam it, it's really hard if you hit it on the inside to miss the next one, the one top four. Like you'd have to hit like a millimeter of it to miss it.
It's pretty much almost risk-free.
So close together. I think Nick makes this almost all the time. I think that'll have a lot of spin. The rocks are pretty active, and he'll know which turn to play here. I would think it's the out turn's going to pull it a little bit more straight and hit a little less of the second one. The in turn would kind of have the momentum to jam it a little harder.
Well, this will have a little gas behind it, eh?
Yeah, Nick's mastered. I've always wondered who, the guys that throw it the hardest, who has the hardest leg drive, and I think it's Kui.
Yeah.
But Nick's really good with his extension. Like he's not a big dude. He's super fit and strong, don't get me wrong. But him versus Amos isn't a fair fight with leg drive, I wouldn't think. No. 6'4" versus 5'7" or whatever Nick is. But here we go. Last Swedish stone, you'll see the arm extension here. That's where a lot of his speed comes from, and this is a lot of speed. He missed it though. Faded it on the push. Wrong side, Ricky.
Interesting. Some
wrong
side, Nicky. Some uncharacteristic misses from the old Swedish skipper today.
Very. And we've got a free draw to the 8-foot for 2 for John Shuster, and he's trying to ride this momentum of that massive in-off to beat the world #1 last night, and they don't often qualify in these slams, so a big game here and a big draw to take a 2-1 lead heading to the 4th end. But more than that, that's a big momentum swing. That you can see Nick just kind of hasn't even went to talk to his guys. He's thinking he really wants that one back. Here comes the house, hoping we get the hat cam. So this is what it looks like judging. And that's Matt's main job here. He's the outside sweeper, so this is getting a little tight, but I think they're going to be okay. They're going to be on the yellow, and it's going to be 2 points for the Americans and a 2-1 lead over the Swedes. We're going to be back for 4th end action right after this.
There's a place where the world's best curling not only lives, it rocks. Download the new Grand Slam of Curling app and live stream all the action. Get exclusive content, stats, merch, and more. Let's rock.
Welcome back to the Coyote National. Brent Lang joined by 2-time Olympic gold medalist John Morris, and a bit of a surprise as we talk in the break there. Those aren't shots Nick normally misses, so we'll see if they can, not that the train's off the tracks, but they're down 1 with the hammer, so we got a tight game. Also talking about the freeze that James Craik made last night, beating the Italians, stealing, I don't know if it was the extra or the 8th end, but ended up, Joel played a,
Right, you can be easy with it.
I think he could have drawn on his first one last night to take the end away, anything kind of top of the house, but they chose to blow up the front and leave 1 top 8, side 8, and 1 dead back button. And James made the absolute perfect freeze dead button. And Joel couldn't quite make that quarter rock in-off stick to win, and they stole the win. So there's 2 teams that did the opposite. Craik had the momentum from last night and came out a little flat by the looks of it, down 4-2 without the hammer, and the Italians got pissed off and came out, and they're up 5-0 on Ramsfell. So quick turnaround too to play the night game, and then I guess this is the noon. At least it wasn't the morning game, but there's a lot of downtime at these slams, John. We never used to have this much, and we used to curl, a couple games a day most of the time. But these teams are playing 1 game a day until the playoffs. It's quite nice.
Mm-hmm. Definitely not a grueling schedule. It's difference being when we first started playing, there was only the men's draw. The women's weren't out the slams.
And we started on Thursday. Basically played 2 Thursday, 2 Friday, 1 Saturday morning, and then playoffs, tiebreakers and playoffs. But
okay, Langer, I'm going to teach you a little Swedish here, okay?
I'd love it.
So remember our first World Junior we were at?
Komi and Asteria?
Yeah,
like that?
We were in Ostersund, remember?
Yeah, of course.
So the Swedes are down 1. They need a little bit of a rally here. We're gonna rally them, okay?
From Lisa Lofskog that she taught us?
Lisa Lofskog taught us this one. So there's 2 that I've never forgot. And one is Kom igen, Sverige, kom igen, Sverige, kom igen. So that's like a pretty standard.
I think that's Let's Go Sweden, right?
Yeah. But there's a better, there's a different one, which is, this one is one of my favorites. And I want to hear you say it after me, all right? You ready?
Okay, I'm ready.
Vi är svenska fans allihopa.
I do remember that. Vi är svenska fans allihopa. I do remember that one.
So
they had the best cheers. I mean, it was in Sweden, so that was the hometown crowd, but I do remember that one.
Yeah, that was, we've had a few events in Sweden over the years, and just a great country to go to, and always cool hearing other countries rally songs for their troops.
For sure. All the teams I've met from Sweden like to have a good time as well. They love curling and love the game, but they like the social aspect of it too. At certain times, I mean, obviously not as much at the slams anymore. You got to pay attention. Every game is super difficult, going to be a grind. So Colin wrecked on this one earlier in the game, but it sounds like he's made the adjustment here, and
there's a shot.
Real good shot. Can't afford to wreck on that one. Rolls a piece buried and round center, double centers. So good start again for the Americans. Team Edin is definitely feeling like they're chasing a bit right now after having a big chance in the second. Thinking of running the front.
Yeah, the double run. Might get all 3 if you're lucky.
The only thing is if you make the double peel.
Probably rolling out, eh?
Yeah, if it's cross top. Looked like Nick almost called the run it and stick and roll for the corner on the tighter one and then run it back and get the one in the house. Because if you peel the guard and then you lose your shooter, I think Shuster will peel the corner guard and go to the 5th end.
Yeah. So we're really close to nose with a lot of weight. And
playing it a little softer, trying to keep something around. I think he was playing the run back and roll for a corner. The calls he's making are elite.
Yeah, and there you go. He's gonna peel this because I don't think that second guard isn't a factor anymore, is it?
No, it's not guarding any of the rings. If there's a good angle there, so we're gonna have to tell some stories because this is gonna get pretty boring, I think, here for a minute.
Yeah, which ones should we break out, Langer?
We gotta save most of them for the couch. Have you seen the couch for this week? It's an actual love seat. It's closer to a lazy boy chair than a couch.
Petite.
It's right back here.
Yeah, I saw that. It's petite. So we'll be cuddling Friday night.
Apparently, they had to clean it off after the Foo Fighters concert. I don't know. That's a rumor I heard, so I don't know what was going on.
Yeah, there's been some good acts in this building. I just seeing the walls up in the lounge area. The Hip have played here quite a bit. And
they do get some big bands. I think people know that it's a great place to have a party.
Yeah.
All the bands know that and want to come here, and it's a beautiful arena. So we're heading for a blank. Nick doesn't even try a freeze or anything. I don't think that makes sense. And then he'll probably in the next end be happy to take 2, but wouldn't be unhappy to blank the next end either. So maybe a chance to update on a couple more sheets out there. It's Mowat. Oh, they had the score wrong.
Oh,
remember I told you Mowat was human? I was wrong.
Okay.
He's back to robot. He's up 2 with.
Human error on sheet 2 there, or sheet C.
Just killing me. I thought we still had a chance. We were planning our comeback. So yeah, he took 3 in the second. Didn't go up a steal of 3, which makes more sense. I can't remember the last time Bruce gave up a steal of 3. So they are up 2 with the hammer playing the 4th and in pretty good shape here too. On third's first rock for Grant Hardy. So
yeah, Dunstone's had a good stretch here coming into this event, but they seem to be struggling a little bit here. I think they're either 1-1 or 0-2, eh, Langer?
Yeah, I thought I can check it here. I got it open here. Yeah, they
No, they lost. I believe they lost yesterday.
Yep.
So they're going to need a big comeback in that game.
Yeah, they're 1-1 and not in a good spot here. So, yeah, like you said, though, they're coming off a good run. They won the last event in Red Deer. BJ, it was a kind of a late schedule ad, so BJ wasn't able to go. He had some family stuff, so they brought in a guy named EJ Harnden. Never heard of him myself. But so he got to reunite with his brother Ryan, and they played front end. And Colton got to reunite with Matt. They played back end in juniors and early in men's, and I think they went through undefeated and beat Epping in the final.
So yeah, that was an impressive win, especially with a little lineup adjustment. So
I wasn't sure if we're going to see BJ. You know, you get on a roll like that with the Canadian teams. It seems like nobody's job is safe.
Yeah.
So.
Yeah, that would have been interesting. I didn't tune into those games, but that Red Deer is always a great event and tough to win. And then how did they do in Penticton there? I think they had a good run in Penticton too, didn't they?
I believe they might have won Penticton as well. Let's look them up.
Hey, 1 more inch.
Yeah, the last, and they qualified in the slam. They beat McEwen in the tiebreaker. I know that at the last slam. And used to be, you know, qualifying in a slam, not that you're satisfied, but man, it's hard to qualify in these slams right now.
Mm-hmm.
Girl.
So Nick's going to have to hit and stay and then make the blank on the last one. Here's Dunstone, and yeah, so they won the Henderson Medal Fall Classic presented by Coyote Tractors of Ontario. That's the Sault Ste. Marie Spiel that Ryan Harnden has run. This is the second year, and I haven't been or played in it, but everybody raves about it. Good purse, too. And then they had a semifinal in the Tour Challenge, Tier 1. They won the Red Deer Classic. They lost the quarters at the Canadian Open, and Penticton, yeah, they did have a good run, but they lost the semifinal. Probably ran into that Howard team that seems to be every year they make the final there.
Yeah, they love that spiel, don't they?
And then they qualified at AMJ Shorty Jenkins, which is a tough spiel, and PointsBet lost in an upset. I believe Jordan McDonald, who's an impressive young team from Manitoba, might be the favorite to win Manitoba this year. Carruthers, obviously, co-favorite at worst, but yeah, they've had a good run lately, and we're going to fall to 1 and 2 here if they don't mount a serious comeback against the #1 team in the world.
Craig with a deuce back to get within 2 of Jacobs. He's down 4-2 on sheet B, and Retornaz still with a stranglehold 5-0 lead on the young team from Norway over there on sheet A. So this is one of our best games we got. We picked the right game today, Langer.
Sometimes we get lucky, right? We're going 2-1 to the 4th end break. Team Edin will have the hammer when we come back for the 5th.
When it comes to the game we love, having the right gear makes all the difference.
Gold Line's new curling shoes and brooms are a game changer.
The shoes, unbelievably comfortable.
And the brooms, lightweight and effective, giving you control on every sweep.
When I step onto the ice, I'm not just prepared, I look sharp.
Have you seen these shoes? They are a game changer.
And the brooms, light as a feather.
It's a Gold Line.
It's a Gold Line.
It's a Gold Line.
And is the choice of champions.
I've stood at the pinnacle of curling and battled in the most intense games.
Out on the ice, there's no room for compromise.
And when the pressure's on, every millimeter counts.
It's not just a game.
It's about maximizing performance,
Pushing limits.
Seizing victory.
When victory hangs in the balance,
I know what I'm relying on.
it's a gold line. It's a gold line. It's a gold line.
And it's the choice of champions.
no chance. Well, then what the hell were you doing last time? Setting yourself up for failure.
Welcome back to the fifth end action, Coyote National. We've got a tight battle here with Team Shuster up 2-1 over Team Edin. Both teams at 1-1, and with the round robin format, the 3-win number is the magic. That gets you into the playoffs. It's not mathematically guaranteed. There could be, I believe, 9 teams at 3-1. 8 teams make the playoff out of the 16-team field. But I've never seen it where 3-1 doesn't get you straight in. So that's what everybody's after, which means dropping to 2 losses, especially with a game left, is not advisable. It's going to happen here. It's one of these teams has to lose. And so good start there from Matt Hamilton, getting that center line guard up, biting the center line, which means it cannot be moved. If it's moved off the center line, it goes back and the shooter comes off. So Christopher Sundgren lead for long-time lead. These guys have been together a long, long time.
That's okay.
Won everything, literally everything I think there is to win in curling, although I don't think they've won all the slams. But I believe they have a gold, well, Nick has a gold, silver, and bronze medal at the Olympics, and that's exactly, why is he doing what I said he couldn't do? So that's why that rock goes back, because it's biting the center line, and I don't know that I've ever seen Christopher Sundgren do that, so now a chance, and if I'm Team Shuster, I think about throwing a high center here. I think if you ask Nick, what's your preference here, other than getting like 6 or 5 or 4 or 3, 2 would be fine. He'd really like to blank and then take a deuce in 6, though. With that in mind, if I'm Shuster, I'm thinking he definitely doesn't want double centers. It's a little risky, but it's a good way to force somebody to score here. And if you're John and you can force him to 1, have hammer in 6 is huge. Anyway, we're not going to get that. We're going to see the freeze, and then I think you're going to see Huffman be asked for a freeze, and then Team Edin's going to get to blowing stuff up. They're probably going to run it back and try and get the blank here. As good a team as any in the world at getting a blank when they want one. These guys, you know, probably Team Jacobs, Team Returnez. Yeah, Christopher's never going to miss twice. That's perfect.
I think we go right to it again.
Yeah, you got to freeze, and then I'm pretty sure you're going to see that center guard coming back pretty hard.
I like this too.
So as Johnny Moe said, Team Craik got a deuce back on Team Jacobs, so they're trailing 2 without the hammer here in 4, but they're in huge trouble here. Brad Jacobs is going to have a very, very makeable chase for 3 and a 7-2 lead.
Line's good. 4. 4's perfect.
Johnny, I saw on social media everybody that got screeched in the other night, and we were there to witness the. Oh, it was hilarious! Really, it was awesome. The guy who did it was like a professional. I felt like I was at a theater show. But everybody that got screeched in won their next game. Coincidence?
Wow, that must have been some good vibes going after that. Yeah, a tradition that. Actually, the guy that did the screech-in, he said his dad started the screech-in back 50 years ago.
That's pretty cool. He was into it. He came out in his full rain slicker, which was clearly not breathable. It was hot upstairs, too. He was sweating and singing and stomping and just entertaining a whole room of people, and he was fantastic. If you haven't seen it on social media, go check out the Grand Slam of Curling's Twitter account and check out some of the videos. It's quite funny.
And if you've never been to Newfoundland and you're planning on coming here, or if maybe this weekend is your first time ever in Newfoundland, you got to go get screeched in somewhere. It is a very unique experience and very, you know, Newfoundland at its best, and you get to really get a sense of the culture for this great city. So I've been screeching a few times. I was lucky. I just got to observe there.
Yeah, we dodged
on Tuesday night, but what a great tradition. And yeah, sometimes you need a little bit of karma like that to get you going, you know.
Absorb the local culture and yeah, embrace the whole week. And I think that's what tons of curlers are doing. Everybody's got a smile on their face. The people, the locals are super welcoming, and the town's a buzz. There's no doubt about it. A little surprised at this one. I just finished saying I think Nick's going to run it back. I mean, Colin didn't make the freeze. I still thought Nick might run this back. Playing the freeze and
not really working, is it?
Oh, okay.
Swedes are struggling a bit this morning. They, they don't have control of the game anymore because they've kind of lost the hammer, the advantage of the hammer they would have had from winning that draw of the button, and the momentum's kind of gradually shifting here to the U.S. I guess, ever since that deuce they scored in 3.
11.
Sure feels like it.
This is that spot that Huffman has struggled on a couple interns this game on. See if he can bounce back here with a nice.
There you see Muzzy going to work on the hat cam.
Hard, you needed to get a touch of theirs at all.
I don't know, does he think he's got some rocks that move too, or what? He's been, I think he's 0 for 3 or 4 on that exact same spot all game. So.
And that hat cam was not in fast forward. That's how fast Matt Hamilton's broom is moving.
So they got rid of the red, but not the ideal result. It would have been nice to keep those ones in more of a position of strength and scoreable.
Seems like he's talking about the runner, eh?
Yeah, it seems like they're going to bail now, which is interesting. But still Rasmus's second shot, so not a terrible idea. I think for sure you want to keep your shooter around here. It looks like, eh?
I would think so. I mean, you think he's running it straight back, so
he might have the blank in the back of his mind here too. So that's a great shot.
That's very nice. Dead buried, shot rock by the looks of it.
Probably just make the run.
Ooh, the run. Yeah, probably just make it, but don't just miss it because there's a lot of yellows to jam it on.
Doesn't look super appetizing.
Sometimes
doesn't look great.
No, I know.
Is there anything easier?
I think, yeah.
Shuster.
Well,
says they're lying too. I don't think that's true.
it's close. This might be second.
Okay, so he is
I
shot.
don't exactly love the run, but I mean, even if you this and move this back here, I think we're okay.
Yeah, even if you make this shot, I think we're okay.
Just hard to not.
I really
jam.
only have the edge.
John really wants to play this, and Chris really doesn't.
We rub the top one and roll in. It's fine. So
okay,
get it nice and tight.
Yeah, there's some good options here if you're close, as you mentioned earlier with tolerance. Probably a bit more tolerance on this finesse shot here rather than the run back, because the run back, there are some bad things that can happen if you're really close. So, and from no one plies, this is, I'd say this is a bit more of his strength, that finesse low weight shot. So here's the Matt hat cam again.
He's switching sides. He's all over the place. Huff Daddy's got this one though, and this is that's a fantastic shot.
That just shows you what Huffman brings to this team is some teams will, have one sweeper on each side and they'll switch sweepers if they want to accordingly based on the, if they want some curl or not. Whereas Team Shuster have such a strength with Colin Huffman that they just get the one sweeper to pivot, and all of a sudden he can, provide both sides of the coin on those sweeps. So great shot by Plies, and the Swedes need a spark here.
Double and roll, I believe, is the call.
How was that?
Get over the top. That's pretty good. Now he's got to make it on the other side, the same impossible chase.
On that intern spot that we haven't seen really a shot made yet either.
True.
I mean, with the big finish this way, I think you can kill that.
Okay, same way.
Same way.
See if Chris can do it again. And you're right, John. Seems to me what I've watched Team Shuster, the more precise or important the shot, the more likely that Muzzy's just along for the ride and Huffman is going to take it on. I mean,
he's got a little bit soft in this spot again, and it's the one that
can't tap this in the rings.
Oof, I hope this kills it.
Oh boy,
that's got to go.
You got it? All right. No, I'm not going to get a chance.
So just enough. Yeah.
It's fortunate.
That spot has been proven to be a Achilles heel.
Nobody's made anything, as you said, really, quite literally.
Now we got advantage Sweden here if they can make a nice freeze. It's bringing that deuce Right back into play here.
Doesn't look like a blank anymore, so they got to switch. I mean, not that it has this last few, but I think that was a good option for Nick. Unless he could play the double, it's just very difficult on those yellows with how frozen that back one is. So a freeze bump. You can kill that back one, doesn't matter. Whatever's the easiest to get it on the nose there.
Lite tajtare, men går man i den så hade man nog inte satt frysen mer än halv kanske.
Sounds like a lot of words. They got a lot of information going on here. But my thought here is with it, how much it curls on the intern to the button on this side. This way might be a little sneaky straight, and if there's anywhere on the sheet that I've seen misses on the straight side, it's been the inside out shots this week.
You've only seen, I think, a couple ends ago, you saw one shot to this spot where they actually came up a little light, if you remember. So there hasn't been a lot to this side of the ice, so there'll be a bit of a guess on what the weight is here.
Yeah, first end they tried to split the rings over here. Remember, it came up light. Let's see if Oscar Eriksson can get this one back there frozen. As long as it's behind the tee line and shot, I mean, might leave a slash, but doesn't want this to over curl.
Looking pretty good for line. And the weight looks close the way they're sweeping it here.
Yeah, don't fall on this one. I think you're pretty good.
How's that, eh? A couple of great shots by Oscar to give the Swedes the spark they needed there.
They did leave it a little short, so I think it's possible to make this double.
Kind of got a little bit lax at the end of there, didn't they? Just maybe died on them.
Stopped a half rock earlier than they thought.
Yeah, I mean, it might go.
The only challenge if you try that,
It's tough.
the slash is there may be a double jam.
It's pretty close.
That would be ugly.
As long as I make contact, well, if I don't make contact, it's 3.
But I think if you get a quarter of that back one, I think you can get it over the top, eh?
You definitely can. It's possible to make it.
Stay anywhere here, though, brings 3 into play. Whereas I take a smash at this thing. It's worst case scenario is 2, and if it happens, a chisel this side and this goes out, it's good.
Yeah, I think that's what he's going to end up playing.
I think this is where I'm leaning.
2/3.
It's just a little thinner, but not much. Yeah, 2/3 is really close. So.
Team Returnas with another steal in the fourth, so they're up 6-0. Teams do have to play a minimum of 5 ends.
Where you at, John? Like here?
Yeah.
Of all the teams you want to come back from down 6, I don't think Italy's at the top of the list. Although it's hard to say they haven't had a good year because last year they just won everything, but they haven't had the same kind of year as last year. Not yet.
Yeah, it's interesting how it goes in phases with a few of these teams. Like, Edin's had from their standards, a more challenging year. But wouldn't be surprised to see them bounce back next year and win a lot.
Yeah, I don't know why they all don't do it the way that your old team Martin did and just win everything for 7 years. Great shot by Johnny.
Shuster.
Blank's back alive, though.
Shades of 2018.
Right?
Pyeongchang, Korea. John Shuster just feeling it this weekend so far.
Look, I know they're good memories for you there, but let's not talk about it, okay? My best memory is watching you win the gold medal.
Yeah.
That's not entirely true. That was a good one, but because the mixed doubles goes first and felt like it was going to be a Canadian sweep.
Yeah, that was the first mixed doubles
Olympics,
ever
right?
in the Olympics, yeah. It was quite interesting because being in a couple Olympics, when you're there for, on the men's side, pretty much feel like you're playing throughout the whole Olympics and then you're done right at the end. So
that mixed doubles look kind of fun, what you did.
Well, you win 3 days into the Olympics and then actually, you know what's funny? My goal was this. I'm like, okay, if we don't win, I'm going to go to Thailand. Never been to Thailand. I'm zipping over to Thailand for 2 weeks. And if we win, I think I'll stay in Pyeongchang and enjoy
Oh, big jam there, and now the force is on. So yeah, so what did you do? You won the gold medal, and then what did you do, Johnny? Just kind of won the Olympics all over again.
You know what?
It
was just...
you were everywhere.
It was a lot of fun. I got some of my highlights where I went and found a local fishing, ice fishing derby, which I went in with my dad.
Of course you
for
did.
rainbow trout. It was up in the mountains, and there wasn't one person up there that spoke English. And my buddy and I and my father went up there and caught a bunch of trout and met some locals, and that was a pretty cool experience. And I got to know Jay and Dan.
Yeah, in Canada House.
Jay and Dan were pretty darn fun at that Olympics. They were hosting. They hosted every day, and then they were off at 3. And yeah, they were beauties. So.
Clean. Yep.
So the force is on. Nick might consider. Yeah, I would make sure you roll that a bit because Nick would think about playing this blank.
Whoa, whoa, whoa! Out of my hand, we're probably good because curl's just more. Than
Yeah. The way he's shooting right now, I'd take his 1 and and you know I just don't think he's feeling it right now. And 2-2 after 5 is not a terrible situation. You're still probably 40% chance of winning this game. So I would say the risk is not worth the reward here. I think you're. What percentage would you give Nick making this double on 10 shots?
I think he probably makes it 3 or 4 times.
I think if it's one you make 7 or 8, you do it. If it's one you make 3 or 4, in my opinion, it's just not worth it.
Like you said, he'll know the math. What are our chances if we're down 2 playing 6 of winning the game? What are our chances if we're tied down 1 with? And then what are the chances I make the shot? You do the math, and that's how his brain works, I think. Still doesn't know what he's doing.
It'd be interesting to hear what the team thinks here, because it doesn't look like Oscar's sold. Yeah, it looks like he's just hitting for 1 without ice, which I think is a smart play here. Take his 1 and try to...
No, he just gave him the overhand.
Really?
Yeah, looked like it.
Would be a lot of ice for that, though.
That is a lot of ice for that, so I don't know what's going on. Oh, he's coming with speed. That's not an open hit speed.
Bringing the heat. Okay. Big shot here.
Can he make it and jam on the side? That'd be a kick in the seeds. Oh, Jesus. I think he makes it 10 out of 10. Hell of a shot from Nicholas Edin. King Nick, maybe that's the spark they need. We'll take the hammer to 6, trailing by 1.
Yeah.
We'll be right back after this.
I never thought we would never take a swing at that thing. We were all 2 inches more.
There's a place where the world's best curling not only lives, it rocks. Download the new Grand Slam of Curling app and live stream all the action. Get exclusive content, stats, merch, and more. Let's rock.
A little bit early if you can. Okay, line's okay now. It's still out straight though. Okay. Just shy of the O. All right, easy now. Just can't get out to the broom with that out turn. Like his slide is just kind of getting stuck on the center line. No, he's throwing.
Glidit bra hela vägen in i slutet förra gången. Då tyckte den...
Bra linje. Lite tight kanske. Åge, håll i den lite. Ja, håll i den lite igen då. Fortsätt hålla i den lite.
Welcome back to the 6th end action, and I know the score is only 2-1, but it's been anything but a boring game. A couple of big shots, a couple of misses. We've kind of had a little bit of everything, and this is a very pivotal 6th end. A huge double there for, here's the view from Muzzy. Look at that buttery outturn from the hat cam. That looked like a hook to me, actually. That's the danger of wearing the hat. We get a real good look at how you're throwing the rock here, Matt.
Line's always straight though, but it's fine.
Matt was our unofficial captain at the Continental Cup a few years, Johnny. I know you were at least one of those. He was call him Captain America. Just a great team guy, just a huge personality, a funny dude.
Yeah, he's one of the best out there. It's always nice. He loves the game, and he's been a great ambassador for the U.S. And I know that ever since that gold, I think he's got a few, sports talk shows and things going on in Wisconsin. And I got to know the Hamilton family pretty good from going to that Madtown Double Down mixed doubles bonspiel in Madison. And I got to say, one of my favorite states I've ever visited, and just a wonderful community that runs not only a great mixed doubles bonspiel, but a great curling community there too. So if you're a mixed doubles player and you ever want a chance to go to one of the most fun mixed doubles bonspiels, they host one in Matt's hometown of Madison, Wisconsin, and it reminds me of Saskatchewan of the South. I've always met some great people from Saskatchewan, and I consider it one of the friendliest provinces we have in Canada. And Madison and Wisconsin gave me that vibe, especially with something they have called Supper Club. Ever do a Supper Club?
No, is that like a kitchen party?
Kinda. It's they do it Fridays and Saturdays, and usually have like a pickerel fry the one time, and it's like the place to be in the community. And it's just awesome. Just a great vibe and some good food, and just kind of like a community meal they have. So.
Bit of a mistake there, calling, trying to freeze on the red one, going around. But as John said, Shuster said, it's not bad. It's not great. Nick would do anything here for a deuce. That would give him control of the game back. But definitely does not want to give up a steal. Might be able to chase this and roll behind the corner. Looks like the hack weight. We'll see if Rasmus can figure this track out. Seems that almost nobody else has. It was strange because now it seems to be curling a lot here. And early in the game, remember the draws in this spot, John, that didn't curl enough?
Yeah, they were holding in.
This one's tracking.
A little heavy, it looks like, but I think it might work. Pretty good shot. Yeah, it's a great shot.
Again, no carve, and I know it's almost perfect. But it looks like Team Edin has decided.
I think it's maybe just do exactly what he did and try and roll it.
They're not really carving. They're not going to do it.
We're shot back here, so you don't have to. I was thinking we play this same thing they just did. Yeah. Board.
Any other shots they could play here, Johnny? I guess they could freeze the top one maybe, but this is probably pretty much it, eh?
Yeah, there's a couple options here, and this is one of those where it's all about the execution. There's 2 or 3 options that are all very good, and you just, whatever shot you think the guy in the hat can make.
Wait a little. That's close.
If he makes this perfect and rolls right to that red, and then Nick freezes one around the corner on the red, they're going to have to eventually go around the center, and I guess that's fine.
Keep going.
Just has to curl.
Keep going, Matt. You're going to have to go
close,
this
but
might
it's
actually be double territory.
not bad result. Pretty good. Ooh, hung around though.
Doesn't kill either one. This is going to get interesting.
Frys eller spela någon typ av hacksar så.
I think you want to hit it because those both stuck.
Den här skulle vara riktigt farlig för dem I alla fall.
Yeah, big difference if 1 or 2 of those leave town. Then, then you're playing the freeze. But
because they stayed, you're working this whole end to make one double a little late, and then Team Schuster's going to have to come up with something, maybe a good freeze around the center or something. But Rasmus Rana, brother of the famous lead singer of the Team Isabella Rana rock band. I'm a little disappointed I missed that. I saw it on social, but I left the last time a little early.
That was special. That was quite a...
Oh, this is a flash, I think.
Not even within a bull's roar.
They look confused. I mean,
okay to poke them out this side.
Didn't look like a bad throw. It just was unexpected with the way that rock tracked.
They almost wanted to sweep it for line at one point. So throw everything I said out the window, and let's switch to a free come around now for Chris Plies.
Okay. Get ready to curl a little. Line's okay. Line's good. Fight the 4-foot. Fight 4.
Line looks really good. They like the speed. Fully buried top 4 would be good. There's a good view there.
That's a perfect shot by Plies.
Fist bumps for the sweepers, the boys. Ooh, that looks hard. That does not look very appetizing, as Plies said last end, right before he made it, though. Oscar's thinking run the guard into the side one, try and have a chance to bring those red 12-foot rocks back into play.
To do that and miss that red one over there would be
pretty tough.
Quite a shot.
I think if you're coming in here, yeah, you're just trying to bump it back 4. Here's the replay of, you can see Matt on the right sweeping, and that's what it looks like. You get up and close and personal with your sweeping partner, that's for sure. It's inevitable you're going to bang heads and shoulders and brooms, and try not to trip each other. That's the key. So I'm not exactly sure what they've landed on here. I like the outturn, bump it back 8, maybe set up a double on those two and get your shooter in a good spot. Looks like they might have switched to the, I guess, Oscar's lefty outturn chase. Same idea. Oh, now you got the if you want to see the fans, yeah, put it on Muzzy's head, because he's constantly talking to the fans. If he's on the outside sheet, he's almost never watching the game.
Yeah, he likes to engage, and that's one of the best things about Matty is he doesn't take things too seriously, and I think it's great for the game. So.
I have seen Shuster have to yell at him, "Hey, Matty, we're shooting," before. Still deciding, and the clock's ticking away. I mean, 8.5 minutes is plenty for 2.5 ends, but switch back to the runner.
They running it straight back, or are they trying to get that side one?
I think they switched to the straight back.
Yep.
Oh,
double jam bone.
Pretty unlucky. Now they just need to draw another one around there. However you can get to the top button, mostly buried. Probably the in-turn, because the out-turn might leave a triple.
You betcha. I think that in-turn, if you can half bury that on the top 4 or even top tee, be a pretty nice shot.
Even if you just sat beside your other one, just past it, that would be a real dangerous rock.
The only trick is you're probably going to have to go further out than anyone's gone in a long time on this sheet. So a bit of a guess on weight, but I think that's the turn for the best result, isn't it?
I think so. I don't really see anything else. I guess you could play the out turn, but if you hang it, you're going to leave the triple a lot. And then it's going to get dicey.
Prisen så har man ju den alltid lost, och så kommer de in i spel de andra, så är det en bonus. Ja, vi bedömde den ju hård i alla fall, direkt ur handen, och sen även när vi började sopa så. Ge oss 2 vägar in för poängen.
They found it, I think. But you do have to decide how hard do we have to throw this, because it is wider than anything we've seen. But this week, and then I was coaching Team McEwen a little bit yesterday on the bench, and they said the different paths aren't as crazy different in the games they've played. So sometimes it can be like 15, 20 feet. This time it's like 6.
Okay. So just a bit more positive than your normal draw here for Chris Plies, and they like it out of his hand.
Room now, a lot of room. Definitely curl. Got to curl if we're doing anything. Knife it then, knife it. We're still wide open right now. I'm trying to bury some. Knife, just straight knife. All right, that's probably it.
This is a little too far, maybe, but not terrible.
Not bad, big shot here on sheet.
Arms in the air, Team Craig. Looks like they snagged a 3 down 5. They're having themselves a week. Getting screeched in, stealing wins from the Italians.
4-3. I threw a 20 on my first and a 05.
Har du frågan? Vilket resultat som blir bäst? Det kommer ju kännas som alltid 6an sitter där ute. Även om jag lyckas planta den och så ligger man andra sten där.
Unfortunate for BJ Neufeld on Team Dunstone, but on our sheet, that's going to be handshakes pretty soon, probably for Team Mowat. Starting to get a little bit congested here if you're Team Edin, and you so might switch to the runner. He also might make the run stick triple, so his defensive shot may turn into an offensive shot here, but we've got to make sure they score one here. If you score one, you're tied playing 7. It's not a terrible situation. A bit of a steal here. It's a pretty bad situation. So if he hits this right on the nose, looks like if it makes the triplet, jams on the side red one, but would open up a big scoring area for his skipper. Again, a little bit unlucky.
Yeah.
Left it dead buried on the top of the button and just rolled his shooter, like the one coming in far enough that Schuster's lying 2 still. So this is turned into a steal opportunity for Team Shuster. Team Shuster starting to stare down the barrel of back-to-back wins over Team Mowat, Team Edin. That's not easy to do. Long way to go here, but
Maddie, just need to overcurl the line by an inch. Dead on, it's great too.
First skip stone in 6th end here, and already one buried top button. Probably wants this one just short of biting the forefoot, maybe. As crazy as it is, if you freeze it,
so you think
if it's right on the nose, you can go right to it. If you don't have the line, you want to leave it short so that run double coming back doesn't get them both and stay shot.
Bring it, not a huge ass. Go ahead, Matt. Go ahead. Leave it out there.
Man ser att han lägger tillbaka den lite, men det brukar han göra på de mjukare också.
Always straight. Hard, come on, Matt, go.
It's be curling a little bit early on them, and it's
hard.
See the fellas working it up close and personal. This is that wasn't even close.
No, that's a
huge miss.
Let him off the hook there.
That was a big chance. That would have went a long way in winning this game, and not that they still can't win it, but that would have put some serious pressure on Nick. Now if Nick makes a really good shot here, freeze bump, and gets shot rock, all of a sudden a 2 is possible.
Got psyched out by the numbers. Sorry about that. Sorry, I was trying to throw a 15 to 25, but I probably could have thrown a 10.
So you hear Schuster explaining there, maybe thinking a little too much about the number, and they need to move this to get shot. John, when you're throwing these, you kind of got to think maybe draw top 4 yourself and then have the sweepers make it, or top 8 even and have the sweepers make it. You think I got to bump it, and you throw back 8 out of your hand and it whistles by.
Be interesting. They haven't been carving many of these, but this is one where you think they'd have to almost, eh?
Yeah, I don't think they've carved a single shot. This one doesn't need carved.
On the center.
Jeez. Lucky he hit it thick enough. If he hits that thinner, it doesn't go anywhere, but outturn side of the sheet's pretty much gone. If you could put this one right in.
Top 8, eh?
Yeah.
By 3. I don't think there's a triple error.
Yeah, it'd be close.
Even if we make him play dicey,
I think you almost want to just bury an inch of it, eh?
Yeah, exactly.
Bury 1 inch and keep that one on the button pretty much covered.
I think if you're going to walk it down, you might put it full forward, just mostly across center, and leave him 3/4 of the shot rock and 1/4 of this one. And in any event, momentum continues to swing back and forth in this end.
So 5'10" is like probably top 8 foot.
Final skip rock for Team Shuster. Here we go from Matt Hamilton's view. See how this one looks.
Okay, let it run for a second. A lot of room right now.
Matt's job on this one is to be telling Chris where it is and helping. Oh no, they called him in. They're going to carve it over.
Starting to move here.
Easy, straight. Okay, go then. Straight then. Whoa.
Not going to get there for third, but that's a pretty good spot. How do you score? Oh, these guys see it. They see everything. They see the game differently.
När han typ frös här och deras tiddragning som underkölla, då passerar de här. Precis taxa sig. 5,5 minut.
Well, they're looking at the draw and the angle raise, and they're both, I'd say, very extreme difficult, but makeable.
If you're going to make an extremely difficult one, though, this one is for two of sometimes. That draw looks awful.
Yeah.
Oscar's still looking.
They trying to draw?
Yeah, I think so. This looks terrible to me. This has to be very close. It's almost likely this is going to chip off shot rock to be made, but it's underway. Here comes Nicholas Edin, last rock to try and tie this game at 2. Perfect draw to the button through a narrow port.
It's looking close here. Looking real close.
Line's good. Pressure's on the sweepers now. Did they leave it? Did they leave it?
Steal of 1.
Steal of 1. A big steal there for Team Shuster. They'll take a 2-point lead to the 7th end. We'll be back with the action right after this.
When it comes to the game we love, having the right gear makes all the difference.
Gold Line's new curling shoes and brooms are a game changer.
The shoes, unbelievably comfortable.
And the brooms, lightweight and effective, giving you control on every sweep.
When I step onto the ice, I'm not just prepared. I look sharp.
Have you seen these shoes? They are a game changer.
And the brooms, light as a feather.
It's a Gold Line.
It's a Gold Line.
It's a Gold Line.
And it's the choice of champions.
Welcome back, Team Shuster, keeping the Schuster train rolling here. A super precise draw by Nicholas Edin, and just needed the sweepers to get on it maybe a half second earlier. Just missed it by an inch or two, and in any event, that's a 3-1 lead, and the Swedish team will have the hammer in 7.
It's taking us longer to go, and then they're running our clock. I think we're going to be okay with 11 left, though.
Yeah, 11 and a half minutes should get her done, John.
Who's on the bench for that Schuster team? I don't recognize him.
I don't either. How's that shot by Dunstone?
A game saver.
An angle raise with like back line from basically the ashtray halfway into a pile of 4. Now it counters. I mean, it's kind of probably just a slow death still because you're going to be down 2 without playing 7, but
I'll call that shot the prolonger.
Yeah. All that did was cost me another 45 minutes. Looks like they're going to measure, and good start here. I think if you're Schuster, I think if you threw that one in the rings, Nick probably would have hit it and tried to blank the end. So throwing a center, and
now you probably come in on this second one, though, eh?
I think so. Nick's throwing a corner, so there's going to be a chance to force here. Nick's going to give it all he's got to score at least 2, and maybe if they get a late mistake, they could score 3, but tie the game up. And with the no-tick rule, as we saw last night, Mao had almost stole if it wasn't for that fantastic shot by John Shuster, and James Craig makes the perfect freeze, steals the win against the Italians, which isn't a team you think you'd steal against often. So I think Dunstone got the single.
Heck of a shot by the Sheriff. Keeps him alive.
On life support, but they are breathing. Just need a little help.
Matt Hamilton, meanwhile, shows his team that the in-turn draw is possible.
Right, there it is, boys. And Nick going to throw another corner guard, so they're getting after it this end. What the second corner guard does, I think, for a lot of teams, is allows you to run the middle without too much risk. If you only have one corner and you run it and you lose your shooter, then they're peeling you down.
And the other advantage is it gives you an angle raise. It gives you likely 2 angle raises if you need it late in the end.
Yeah, 20. So give us that same ad as last time, just give us that 20.
So either freezing on it, or I think if they could, they'd draw this one around to the button. Let's see what Colin Huffman has for the intern here. Make sure you put a little handle on it and get it out there. That looked like a better throw.
5-6. Clean. Wait's close. Wait's close. Gotta go wide. Go, Matty.
I think he's got a couple stones.
Yeah,
we can go to the top.
I was just going to say that.
So we gotta go to get by.
He's tracking differently than.
Whoa, we're by. Whoa.
That looked like a nice throw. The speed's really good.
Yep, a little bit, Chris.
That's a good result.
Too.
Really good result.
That's fine, see?
There we go, Huffman.
If I thought that was easier, I would have called it. Good throw. Colin, I did 20 there.
Shustyisms, we call them. His little one-liners.
I had
Like I
21.
said, he's great to watch. One of my favorite to watch.
He's got some entertaining quirks.
That wears his emotions on his sleeve. Doesn't really hold back, and personally, that's what I like to watch in athletes. Playing the chip and roll behind the corner here.
Mycket bra. Ja, ja. Hack. Ja, ja. Knapp hack. Yes. Med på röd, sen få in den i bot.
Pretty good. What's better than 2 corners? How about 4?
Yeah.
That almost got
That
in the
bite
rings.
too?
I don't know. I can't tell from here.
So there's no real, you can't get rid of all those guards. So sometimes the best defense is good offense, and that's what U.S. you'll be seeing from the U.S. this end is try to preserve that nice setup they have in the middle.
2.5. Line's good.
So we want this one, fairly tight. Don't want to leave this above the Coyote logo and let them chase and hack one of those out and roll behind the corner. And
So he's coming all the way to freeze on.
also don't want this one in the rings.
It's got to stop. Yeah, just let her to grind. It's 15-1. Sit. Yeah, it's all the way up. It's fine. Okay.
So it's one of my favorite days today, Langer, especially we're watching the U.S. team play right now.
Okay, I know where you're heading.
You know what day it is?
It's, what's Billy Madison say? Is it Nudie Magazine Day?
Well, it is American Thanksgiving.
That's why you're wearing the Packers jersey, hey?
Yeah,
they play today?
Their Packers are playing today, and 3 solid games of football from about 2 p.m. onwards out east here. So not only am I looking forward to the kitchen party, there's a shot. That's called an end changer.
And now it's trouble. Now this is a kind of the perfect setup for a deuce.
This is also not on. So
nothing's in yet. So American Thanksgiving, it's a big party down south, obviously. Lots of football games, like nonstop. Is it all weekend, or what's the story?
Well, they've added, so they got 3 games today. So usually what you do is you belly up somewhere, your favorite pub, put your jersey you're supporting on, and we call it Yankee Thanky. And it's one of my favorite holidays, actually, because I love football. And then they've added a Black Friday game, so tomorrow there's another game as well. So
right, tomorrow's Black Friday, too. So football and shopping. Could it be any more American?
Really got to go, Colin.
Colin trying to work this one.
Is he going to get enough to get this out here?
If he doesn't, he's just going to have enough to chip it in. It goes.
Wow. That didn't do jack.
Well, a good opportunity here for the Swedes to get multiple points. They can, the 2 and 3 are still on the board with how many corner guards they have out. So we'll see if Oscar and company can capitalize on this opportunity that Rasmus has kind of put them into.
That didn't do it.
I mean, I guess that's the spot that curls so hard the other way, but
yeah.
Yeah, this is, I wouldn't say it's straight, but straighter. But this is where Oscar made that freeze 2 ends ago, right?
Yeah, I think he'll know the spot pretty well, and good chance of him making the shot in the top of the house period. There's the Matt Campbellton side cam there. That was kind of cool.
He's got to be careful what and who he looks at today. This looks perfect. No problem there from Oscar. He isn't going sideways at the end, though. That got by pretty tight, but that's exactly...
Perfect spot.
Yeah, exactly where you wanted that. And
even if, they got to make a...
Wide chase, eh?
Whew. It's there. And it's a better result. Even if you make the run back, you're still... I'm assuming that one's out of the rings, eh?
Yeah, it is out. Yeah, John said on the last one. That one's not in either, so...
As long as you stay up.
I think this is...
So you might think, why doesn't he peel the guard and give up 2? Well, you peel the guard, Oscar's going to make that same come around on the other side. You're going to hit the open one. Nick's going to make the come around again, and then you're going to have to make a draw to a perfect spot or else leave a double for 3.
So it's all about the line here. So
yeah, I don't mind this call. It's definitely you got to make it. It's a bit more, a bit less tolerance on this shot than the run back.
We've got another final. Team Jacobs recovers from giving up 3 and 5, and not sure how many they scored in 6, but it must have been probably at least 3. Okay. So they've got the victory there over Team Craig.
Line's way out there. Getting better. Getting better. It's curl still.
It was a 3. They win 10-5.
Can't bounce on this line.
This looks good from Chris. Needs to not over curl and not bounce.
Okay. All right. Good.
Close. I think you can get inside that though, eh?
Oh, it is.
Just not enough curl
available,
on that.
Yeah.
The weight was perfect.
Maybe the lefty in-turn versus Chris's righty out-turn, maybe. The lefty in-turn just curling a little bit more.
That was a risk of taking that freeze on, is now you bring a 3 into play.
Unlikely that 4 is alive, but it's not dead yet either. Needs the perfect speed here to get the curl. They don't sound very excited. They don't sound very nervous either. This looks perfect. Gotta go.
Just enough, yeah.
Just enough, but that's open to kill 1, I would think, and maybe roll to the 4-foot and take
just get as close to the nose as we can.
Take 3 away, I would think.
Yeah, kill it. Try to get this.
Yeah, as long as I kill the 6.
How much you got from the half? What do you got? Okay. You like a 11?
Yeah, or 11.5 even, John.
Okay, let's go just this side of the seat.
Okay. I think 11.5 gives them a little more chance to...
Yeah.
So the Sportsnet coverage did start today. I mean, I'm sure you'd rather listen to us, but there is the option to turn it on Sportsnet. That's the Dunstone Mowat game if you haven't already been watching. I would think that most hardcore curling fans, and since it's a holiday, like you said, Johnny, everybody in the U.S. would probably have it on multiple screens.
Stay over here.
We'll probably get epic ratings today from the U.S. because of that holiday.
For sure.
Especially because the football hasn't started yet.
Yeah, everything in Newfoundland and Labrador starts real late. You're from Alberta, and games start early, but Leafs games here start at like 8:30.
Easy.
Yeah, I'd be make for some late nights here. I actually enjoy being out west because you get you get early games and with a couple of young kids. It's nice to be in bed early. Looks like a good shot here from Johnny.
Yeah, gonna kill the back one, save the shooter, and rolls it out from behind the guard. That's real nice.
Good result. Yep.
I'm okay with that.
You're gonna have to be, Johnny. That's what happened. So that is just well called and executed.
I was like, ooh, I straightened that. I hope it doesn't run like Chris's.
Yeah.
So how do you get 2 if you're Nicholas here?
Well, you got to split the rings. The only problem with splitting the rings is that if he makes that easy run back and sticks it, because that one in the back 12, it kind of takes away your double for 2. So it's not as simple as it looks. I don't mind his call. I don't mind his freeze to the back one. I think that's actually the only problem with that is you almost want to freeze right in the nose, because if you only freeze on a chunk of that one, it brings the run double into play, right?
And as crazy as it seems, if you made a good freeze, the blank wouldn't be dead yet. John's going to play a hit, and if he played peel weight on the runner to try and make the double, he could lose his shooter and get everything else. So I like this call too.
Lite linje. Lite tight. Bra linje, bara fart. Linjen är okej. Bra linje. Precis hänga full 8. Köla lite.
If I look
Köla
there,
lite. Köla lite så vi
looking
kommer
pretty good.
insida.
Looks really
Dra
good.
curl. Dra curl, ända
Curl
ner.
right to the nose.
Bra.
That's a heck of a shot.
Nice.
Bra. So it is there to...
Just nose it.
Yeah.
Stay in front of it.
Yeah.
You could
The
throw
run
a
double's
howitzer. You could
there.
throw an absolute howitzer. Maybe not Shuster's,
Yeah.
strongest
Kind of way to like.
shot, but
I mean, I'm kind of tempted.
you throw
I know
a
we've thrown
howitzer-
this soft a few times, but I'm tempted to throw a little harder.
it's kind of there's two shots here though. There's either the bomb, try to get both, or you just throw control weight and try to keep it right there. You know,
Stay, leave him.
that's
We're
a pretty
also
good
just
result
talking
too.
about just stuffing it in line 2 in a row here.
That
But
would
I
be
think
great.
The more weight we throw,
And then
the
you'd
more
leave a
margin we
double and he would
because
have
it
to
goes
roll
flat side
in
here and goes out.
Yeah.
to outcount the back
I'm
yellow.
not afraid here to take broom here and throw like 9 or 9-5.
9-5.
Yeah,
There's
and I think
Muzzy's
just
view in
dead
the
nose
rings.
Or just a shade across.
Yeah,
9-5.
dead nose or just, I mean, just a millimeter low.
Correct.
Yeah.
Yeah, the clip set back when the shooter can roll in too. So.
So just a hair across with the intern here. Probably hit and roll an inch low, and then the back one will stay right behind it. And I don't.
Inside nose, yeah.
Yeah,
Where's playing the
John say
plant,
inch
stay in front.
inside.
I think they're picking up the weight a little bit just to make sure they don't at all have a chance of double jamming, which is not a bad play.
You'd love to play this with board weight. If there was nothing behind it, you might. Here we go. Last Team Shuster Rock, 7th end.
It's curling here. This intern spot might have tricked him again. That's a great result, though.
That is sneaky.
A little
good.
fortunate.
Oh, is that good?
Annars är det nog
And you're
clownslag,
dead.
tangering, träff.
Jag bara drar fett va.
Draw for 1. Team Schuster's going to be at least up 1 with, maybe.
Ja, jävlar. Curla över nästan max.
Yeah, I don't speak Swedish, but that is those lucky Americans. That was very fortunate, and to leave them, dead across from each other. So, draw against 2 for Nicholas Edin here. Needs a little better than full 8 to stay in this game. It's probably going to be 1 red or 2 yellow, so that looks like it's curling. Careful sweeps. This is curling.
Ja. Ja, det är linje för här.
You're going to draw a side 8-foot here. That's a strange path, but it's going to get the job done. And we got a 3-2 lead for Team Shuster over Team Edin. Team Shuster with the hammer when we come back for the 8th end.
I've stood at the pinnacle of curling and battled in the most intense games.
Out on the ice, there's no room for compromise.
And when the pressure's on, every millimeter counts.
It's not just a game.
It's about maximizing performance,
Pushing limits.
Seizing victory.
When victory hangs in the balance,
I know what I'm relying on.
It's a gold line. It's a gold line.
it's a gold line.
And it's the choice of champions.
Welcome back, and a fortunate last shot for Team Shuster. He wasn't far off what he was trying, but ended up really good and forcing Team Edin to draw for 1. And up 1 with the hammer coming home, John's a pretty nice spot to be if you're Team Shuster.
Yeah, comfortable position for the U.S. fellas here. This is where the interesting new rule this year with touching the center line and not being able to take it off, I think, has created better finishes for the fans. So definitely Edin, with that new rule, has a chance to steal 1 or even 2 for the win still.
Line a little bit. But
Yeah, it definitely changes it, makes it more entertaining. And
stay down.
the fact that I'm not out there, I love it.
6-7.
I'd like to see no tick shots whatsoever.
Yeah.
Because we do see them. I saw Botcher make 2 inside-out ticks and roll in the rings on corner guards. I guess that's what happens when one of the best skips plays second. I don't know. But yeah, I'd like to see, I mean, I like all offense, and I think that's what makes our game interesting is the strategy and the rocks in play and the big shots. So we're going to see another guard here from Christopher. That one's, he's got after that one. Nice and high, boys. Rasmus got straight to work on that.
Looks pretty good here, just has to curl a shade.
Very good. That is not an easy shot. Of all the, you know, quote-unquote normal shots, that one I always found the hardest.
Yeah, it looks easy, and,
Same way, Eddie.
you know, it's kind of taken for granted, that shot, but it is, you never practice those in practice really either. You know, I'm sure as a lead you do a few, but it's one of those high guards is such a different throw than your typical draw.
It's 7 right now.
Right off.
But it's massive if you get it in a good spot like they have.
Those two are absolutely perfect. No double peels.
I want to chop it a little, Colin.
Just top 4.
Carve. Then go.
ahead.
Carve. Just carve.
Good.
I know we need more curl, though. I don't want to be side by side.
It's finishing
Keep going
now.
Yep.
It's the old Huffman
Keep
honor.
going.
Looks like
Right
it's
to
really
those,
finishing.
Great job, Eddie.
Pretty much perfect. Now time to get those moving around. You get one shot to move on back button. They'll peel the top one. You'll throw a couple high guards and eventually hopefully freeze on this one that Rasmus can get back button. If all that happens, which is unlikely it happens exactly like that, but if it does, it'd be a good steal chance.
Yep.
Got to get this by the guard, though.
Cut. Ja, bra. Snyggt.
Oh, that's a good shot. Didn't think he could stick the shooter right there. Straight peel, the next few shots will be simple calls. I think straight peel, throw a guard.
Yep.
Yeah, the Swedes still have lots of work to do to.
Okay, just please. Throw gone.
I almost think it's worse that they stayed there.
Doesn't look like an ideal setup.
No. For such a good shot with the right weight, it didn't. Like if that rolls off and you leave the freeze on the back, I think it's better.
Yeah.
I'm not sure either.
Now Rasmus has to get after this high guard.
It's naturally taking like a slightly outward path. Yeah.
Linjen är bra. Komma ner.
I
Risk
want
över
this
om
to
något.
slow down. Don't want it too
Bara
close to the
stanna för linjen.
second guard and give
Nej, nära där i
Huffman a
faran.
chance. It's a double. Line looks pretty good. That's pretty good.
Ja, frågan är vad vi gör sen. Känns som det är lite för tidigt att göra något nu i alla fall. När skjutningen
So
är så
Sweden's
kort.
had a little bit more precision the last couple of ends, but you know, a couple of bad breaks here. There one bad break last end, and
Rulla upp på den här och få en
might
soffa.
prove to be too little, too late.
Jag har ju båda timeouterna kvar så.
Schuster looking to break a 10-game losing streak. I wonder if he knows that. I mean, I'm sure he knows we haven't beat these guys in a
Ja,
while.
en till hög tror jag.
2019. 2018, I think, was the last win.
Something like that, right?
So that's a
lifetime ago.
6-year span almost.
Let's see if we can find it here. So, yeah, May 11th, 2019, in the World Cup Grand Final. That was those crazy international events. So it's been a while.
Ja, nu får vi fundera.
These guys are making this look easy. Like I told you, it was hard.
Ja, ni kan ju stanna kvar där nere så.
But yeah, what is the plan?
Ta en på min nu direkt eller?
I
Ja,
don't
jag tror
see
det.
anything great. The wide intern freeze on the nose, maybe, which looks hard.
I think you eventually tap the red right on the nose to try to freeze the back one.
Yeah,
you leave you a better angle on the top one, and
yeah,
and then they'll probably rip that guard into it. But that's all I see.
Even if it overcurled a bit and just tapped it kind of beside it and stayed kind of hooked on the one top forefoot. But they need to move something because right now this is not looking like a steal. See if we can decipher what they're saying by their actions.
Försök på den här ner på trean om den ligger där någonstans. Men den är ju äcklig ändå. Han kan ju inte planta den där, det blir inte svinbra. Ja. Gör vi den här? Däremot gör vi den. Alltså tappar vi den ner dit, inte fryst men skotte. Och så ligger man uppe där, då är den här ganska... Alltså det är så jäkla stort target för att bara göra den trippen då. Rulla in dit. Det där, sen rullar man in dit så finns det i alla fall... Han kan inte skjuta den rakt. Ja, vi typ rulla så man kan runda det här sen. Ja. Alltså ligga typ där. Och typ få den här hit. Ja. Det är bara lite insida, bara få en halv, 2/3 insida frys. Bite linan vill man till typ. Ja. Eller... Ja, det eller komma upp så tjockt som möjligt här, men det är ju lite det dryga med den här är att den måste ju bort från den här frysen vi har. Den måste ju väga ända dit. Alltså komma chapp så man får den dit. Ja, dit kommer vi nog inte. Nej. Ja, då är det den då. Ja, jag tror också det.
So trying to figure out, I think they agree with you, John. They're going to your shot here.
I bästa fall tappar den dit och ligga där. 70 insida. Ja. Med bak 4. Ja. Ja, nästan bak 8 tror jag du behöver. Ja. Den kommer tappa mycket träff. Nästan minst bak 8 om den ska ner på T-line tror jag. Alternativt släppa utsida, bara tappa in den på
There's a bit of a tolerance here too if you overcurl a bit. Isn't it bad? Because then you open up the back. But ideally, you want to be right on the nose, maybe right on the nose and tap frozen to that back one would be, I think, a pretty darn good result.
Even if you're a hair high and move that yellow on top 4, I hate that if I'm team Edin, unless you get one hooked on it. It's... Christopher kind of dove in on that one. It looked a little light by his reaction.
Yeah, it looked a little light.
Yes! Behöver gå för fart. Hårt! Träffa för mycket insida. Kom igen. Det ligger bra. Det ligger perfekt. Vicken inåt. Ja, bra.
Pretty good. So he did kind of hook that middle situation and that back freeze now. If they ever get one frozen on the back one, they got a good chance here.
Yeah, timeout, wherever it is.
So you're probably peeling the guard. Are you going to try and take a chance and run it into that red one? If you run into the top red one, it's really not very good.
I think you're just peeling.
There you can see old Aaron Rodgers in the booth. You still got a cannon for an arm?
Stuff it in there and
You were the third string quarterback in our house at university.
No, it's better to kill
I was more of a defensive
the
specialist.
just stuffing it, leaving it back.
My cornerback skills were, but no.
Well, the only other thing you could do is to fire this.
Yeah, the Packers are playing tonight, and my favorite team's the Eagles, though they're not playing. You watching NFL football?
I don't really.
Yeah.
I mean, every now and again when it's on, we watch the Super Bowl. We usually had a curling event over the years for the Super Bowl, but
Yeah. Okay.
So you see anything else here besides the peel?
Third and second, third, and the fourth.
Not a lot of other.
I mean, they're probably
I guess you
trying
could
to tap
pick.
things to nose and make some.
Could pick that red one, but I don't think that helps much.
great. I think you peel, and the middle situation is still lined up decent for like the 2 rocks that Muzzy's looking at right there.
Rocks are up there, and
That double tap is still there late if you need it.
And there's no guard at least.
And there's no guard, so.
I think if you peel the guard, and assuming you don't get fortunate
I
and
but I mean, I think
doubled
that
off
this rock is
either one of
their
those,
best rock right now.
Right. Okay.
then Nick's going to play the same bump freeze, and it's not going to be awesome.
I don't.
You're not really going to have a
I don't
double.
love making this for him. Let's just straight peel it.
I think this
The
is
fact you're one
playing
up,
with too much fire.
you could take a little bit more
So
risk
I think you
here.
have to play intern
I
this
like
time?
the outturn.
You like the outturn just then?
Yeah,
Okay.
just
Same
I
one
just
you
threw it.
You could peel. The only shot I like is hit the red one, second shot, kill your back yellow, roll off, knowing that if they make a great come around, you peel. They make a good guard. Maybe you have a runner or something, or maybe right now you have the double tap to the button, but they're going to take that away. So
I still think, I think the peel's a shot.
Yeah, it's actually turned into that was a really nice shot by Oscar. And it's turned into a bit of a situation, a really great shot by Rasmus on his first one to get those 2 frozen ones that Matt Hamilton put in there, moved around to give them a chance even. So straight peel, I don't imagine Chris will have any trouble with this.
Hard right to it. Right to it. Right to it. So my shoes are turning all white from the rocks. They're turning my shoes all white.
So Nick's going to play the same kind of shot. Freeze bump on that. And then I don't know how you... There's not going to be a double, John, because that's going to... The nose double on the top is going to go right into your top 4 foot.
Key here is trying to get to almost nose on it.
Yeah, absolutely.
Because if you're a little bit too wide on it, then you'll open up that double. If you can get right to nose or just off nose, then things will be a little tricky for Shuster here. Very precise draw he's got to make coming up here, or tap.
Team Mowat on Sportsnet here, taking the W, going to 2-1, and dropping Team Dunstone to 1-2 on their last life for their next game tomorrow. So Team Edin's first rock in the last end, needing to steal to stay alive. They liked the line, I think.
Yeah, that's line, that's perfect.
Oh, they got a little pop in their step now. All of a sudden, they're kind of making everything. Like, what do you do now? You can see the problem. He'd love to get rid of the front, but that top red one goes absolutely nowhere.
Yeah, this is a little bit of a pickle now for the U.S.
I think you got to try and hit that their shooter there and blast it off shot rock, leave them shot and roll out.
Could just play just the tap.
Well, you can't do that. Let's not be crazy here.
I guess our shooter is rolling to a spot where it might be a double.
Yeah, that's the only thing. He makes a double and it's tough. Like, I think it's this.
It's probably just slash it across the top.
I think it's that, yeah.
Let's maybe get this over to here.
Yeah, it'd be great if it does, right?
What if you just jam those two red ones? So you, the one on the center line, you hit a quarter rock and just jam it into the other one that's in the top 8.
Open up your yellow.
Open up your yellow.
Or draw in
and
there around again.
I don't know what he's going to do to try to get 2 in there besides maybe tap frozen again.
True.
But then you have it.
That'd be real hard. Yeah, I could buy into that. And if it curled a bit and it rolls off, it may bump your yellow one up for shot and open up the back one too. So I could buy into that too.
Right there.
They're buying into the double here. Not the double, but
I think it's thick half. You think it's good enough?
Yeah, I think it's still good.
Is a third good enough?
Could you ever shave it?
Okay.
I think anywhere between 1/3 and 1/2.
I think they're trying to shave it.
Yeah, across the top and click the back one, get rid of the back yellow, the backing, and have this one.
Like that, Theron?
There is, I think Chris just asked Theron. That must be the guy on the bench. You like that, Theron?
I guess you can still chat with him. It's a timeout, right?
Oh, the timeout is still going. Okay, I was like, I don't think that's necessarily allowed.
Yep.
Can't poke it through the hole here. Nick would freeze another. Can't jam it.
Oh, boy.
Oh, boy. This doesn't sound good.
Pars goes, Matty. Pars goes.
Okay.
All right.
It's fortunate that that one went.
Yeah.
Well, that changes the call for Edin here. He's probably going to hit that top one now to lie.
Can he? Yeah, is that, if he could. Doesn't look super easy to make it past the back one.
Yeah, you definitely don't want to touch that back one, right?
But I guess if you shaved it over so it's kind of side 8, that would probably be ideal. Could draw there, yeah. That would make it real tough. I think they want to find a way to lie 2 now. Like, you can't just guard that double tap with a little backing. Is not one you can leave.
Här just nu känns som man har clearing med ganska mycket stöd, så vi behöver ju typ nudda 1,5 foten.
Ja, det...
Skulle man få den här, då är det nice.
Den är ju lurig.
Det är bara att det är så jävligt tunt träff, alltså, med rotationen den får, att den ska röra sig hitåt uttaget, så är det bara
2 minuter nu tills vi ska ha spelat.
4 cent i träff, och det är nästan så den här kommer få så mycket så att den ändå touchar 7:an.
Ja, det går ju att lägga den bara.
Ja, det här slaget är assvårt.
Han lär ju spela dubbelknacken här just nu. Ligger det nästan för att träffa också så.
So because of the lineup there, I think if they could hit and lie 3, like you said, John, they'd do it automatically.
Ligga 2.
Ja.
But it's a little bit tricky, and it would also leave a
wide open hit
with almost a catcher.
Kommer lite för mycket, då
So maybe
kanske man
the
kan spela
shot
den
is the
här,
perfect draw.
men då kanske det ligger för att kunna sticka ändå.
Den som optimalt är att smita och bara
Just past that, so that when they run the red-yellow, it jams.
Inte kalla runt som bara en öppen chapp på den där stenen, men den måste ändå vara precis.
Ska han spela öppna chappen och nudda den här?
They make this perfect. You almost have to give him one and
potentially.
Hänga vid, kan vi frysa röd som du sa först också.
Well curled in here.
Yeah, very well played
shots.
So Team Edin's last shot in the 8th. Hoping for a 9th or a steal of 2, I guess, would get the job done also, but super precise out-turn draw in a spot where we've seen quite a few shots missed this game. So see if they can match the line with the weight. Here we go.
Den är okej. Bra linje. Linjen är bra. Lite dit. Nej, bra linje, bra linje. Kommer hårt nu. Linjen är bra.
They like the line, but
keeping
it like they might think it's heavy.
It's a little
Bra
hot.
linje. Kalla. Hur är farten? Precis.
Bra linje. Oh, this looks good. Right there.
I think it's a little too far.
Yeah, shade too far. I think he can hit it hard, eh?
That's a difference of a couple inches.
2 inches maybe. He is lying too, though, so at least making him pay attention and shoot.
Anything high side?
Anything thick.
You don't think
If
the
that
yellow ever
stops
spins out?
top button, it's a
You think their eight goes
major.
all the way, right? Yeah,
majorly
it's not
different
anywhere.
shot.
I hit it too thin, but I'm just saying, like, inch high, it just stays, right? Do you think nose works?
Yeah, I do.
I think nose works too, so that's fine. Yeah, I was thinking, I think firm, or do you think that one thing has to spin all the way here?
I think that's going to be spinning hard. Yeah, I kind of agree with Matt.
All right, I like throwing 8. Let's throw a little harder than firm.
I think you need a little speed.
You trying to hit this thing like 2/3?
Yeah, I mean, I think just 2/3 to an inch. I think like an inch high is pretty good.
Inch high is
Yeah,
fine,
I
okay.
think thicker is your safer. Looks safer to me for that yellow one to definitely
nose
stay.
makes this as easy as anything, but
I think this is kind of hard to miss.
Yeah, I agree.
to hit, I think thin is the only way we really hurt ourselves here.
You would
Like,
have to be so
doesn't
thin.
ever
I
get
still
to
don't
nose
think
if I throw
that yellow ever goes anywhere.
Yeah, I'm throwing 8. So
firm.
The only way thin
Yeah,
hurts
like
you is
8.
if it
Okay.
isn't hard enough.
Firm
Here we
weight-
go.
Firm weight should do it.
To win the game, John Shuster, last rock in the 8th end.
Yep.
Sounds like he can hit it anywhere.
Yep. Hard! 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 Right to it!
Hoffman on the sweep here. They need to sweep this.
Smith, go!
Enough.
He's got her. That's a big W for Team Shuster, taking down Mowat last night, and now Team Edin. And they'll move to 2-1, and Team Edin drops to 1-2. Thanks for tuning in. On behalf of myself, Brent Lang, and Johnny Moe, we will see you next draw, 4 o'clock. Newfoundland and Labrador, you'll have to do the math to figure out your own time zone because there's an extra half hour. We'll see you soon.
Curling fans, that wraps up draw 10 here at the Coyote National. A reminder right now, Team Dunstone will be at the Coyote booth in the first floor in the concourse. If you want to get an autograph or a photo with your favorite member of Team Dunstone, you can do that at the Coyote booth on the first level in the concourse. Also, at Amarin Curl right now, Team Retornes will be on stage for Rock Talk, so you can hear a discussion with them, maybe a chance to ask some questions and get to know them more personally. That's at 2:30 right now. We'll see you back here at 4 o'clock for draw number 11. It's the Coyote National. See you at 4.
Hey, how are you?